Why did they give Reese Davis the segment to even talk about that? Like, why they just let? Why they ain't give it? Were they testing? Were they trying to test it?
Why
Like, were they
even
trying to
do
test him?
that?
Like to see, like,
Dog,
let's see if you
bruh,
gonna slip up.
bruh.
Like, why would you test him like that? Like, what is the purpose of that?
It be the stuff that happened like this. Where I be like, y'all don't have no black people in the room.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't got no naysayers in the room, dog, to tell y'all, yo, y'all gonna have the white dude say naysayers. Like, we all know it's not naysayers, right? Y'all know it's not naysayers, right?
We all know that's not the
Bill,
word.
hey, Bill, come over here, Bill. You see the thing on his shirt?
Yeah.
What do you think the N stands for? I don't know. What does the rest of it stand for?
Just asking
The
the
L
question
stands for
already.
let, the A stands for A, and then the K stands for no. What does the N stand for? Bill. Bill is like Homer Simpson.
Yeah. Yeah, Bill immediately is gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I see where you're going."
Not today, not today, naysayer. Not today, naysayer. You almost had me, naysayer.
You're not gonna give me shit.
Darwin, what are you doing here?
It's challenge day.
Welcome back, challengers. It's season 3, episode 9 of Challenge Day. I'm glad you guys are back with us. We got a pretty packed show today. Real quick, we just want to make some quick housekeeping. Do some quick housekeeping tasks. Of course, check us out on all the social media handles that you guys like to frequent.
At
you know all the ones.
another challenge day.
At another challenge day. Check us out. We have quite a bit of content. And if you're feeling frisky, check out even some of our older content. We have a lot of content.
That back catalog.
Really nice. Yeah. Definitely check us out. I think you'll be able to get a lot of information, a lot of game from what we've been able to share with you guys for a bit. So check us out, man. Again, that's at another challenge day on all your social media handles. So with that being said, let's jump right into the show. What you got?
The mass count. What's today? January 7th. We already got 6.
Everybody, Happy New Year's.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy New Year for sure. Happy Haitian Independence Day.
Yeah, that as well.
That was January 1. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna put a pin in that one. Absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna bring it back a little bit later. But yeah, the mass count is at 6. Oh, so by the way, 2023 wrap up. The mass shooting count in 2023 was 656. Now, you may recall there was at some point, might have been episode like 6, 3.6, season 3, episode 6. I think it was like, oh, we got like 200 to go. If you're gonna, you know what I mean? If the numbers stayed the same from last year, right? And last year was 646. And
last year.
We did it. I feel like, is this one of the things we like, you do like a like a do you do like a little, the horns and the celebration confetti? No,
I don't know about that
because we did it. We beat our number from last year.
Well, there's an improvement, so it's something to celebrate.
Improvement. 656 is what we landed on. 656. So 2022 was 646, and we landed at 656 by the time we wrapped up 2023. It ain't looking good here, man. A lot of people dying unnecessarily.
Yeah, that's telling you
unnecessarily. And right now it's January 7th, and we're already at 6. I checked this morning. It was at 5. I walk away for a second, and y'all already killing people.
They probably know you're watching, man.
They know. Okay, we got to get our numbers up. You know what I'm saying? Like 2024 is like hold my beer or hold my ammo. This shit is dumb. People that should still be here, they're not here because we're not doing anything about it. But that's the number. We're at 656 last year, and we're already at 6, and we're on the 7th day of the year. So Okay, we're trying to keep up with the number of days in the year. What are you gonna do?
So apparently we got Donald Trump doing the best that he can to jeopardize whatever NATO is
He's been
trying.
talking about it out loud.
Yeah, he's doing way too
He
much. He's
he
really trying to
tells
push
you
it.
what he's gonna do. He wants to get
Yeah,
out of NATO.
yeah,
He
he's
wants to freaking
trying to do that
cancel
for a while.
all the contributions to NATO and
Yeah,
all of the aid and like. But the thing
pulling
is,
out the
though, like
Paris Accords and all that.
yeah,
Yeah,
you that was with Iran, like
yeah,
not the Paris Accords is with the climate change, but
the
like
climate change
there
thing.
was
Yeah.
the nuclear freaking accords with Iran,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
but like he's been saying out loud he wants out of NATO, and I was shocked when I
Really?
saw this. When I saw this
Okay.
for Congress to
To to support.
pass
Mm.
a law to be like, yo, and like this was bipartisan. This was 310 to 118. That's a lot of Republicans that voted for that. So as much as they might be quiet when Trump is talking all that bullshit and all, like a lot of Republicans, this is the House.
Yeah, they look even supporting it in the
They're
background for
like,
sure.
yo, I think he might pull us out of NATO. I
Hmm.
think he might legit like, and like they realize that this is important. NATO is important.
It is. It's
Like,
very important.
it's when we talk about keeping Russia at bay, when we talk
Yeah,
about like, there's
strategic
these,
partners in that side of the
yo,
world for
who
sure.
somebody just joined the BRIC nations the other day. I
Yo,
think I
brick
think
is bro.
UAE
That's not surprising. That's not
just
surprising.
joined the BRIC nations. Like,
Yeah,
bro, like
they
there's
they
a
want they want to be able to stand up against. They want to be able to
stand up
rival
against
NATO.
place. Yo,
Yeah, yeah.
so
That's been going on since that whole brick. Um.
and they
What's the
add
name
in
shit?
members to
Since the
BRIC.
onset of brick. Yes, since the onset of brick. That's been the move. That's been the desire for sure is to be
So
a rival
people
to
with
NATO.
more coherent understanding of international politics
Mhm.
and these situations are like, it's kind of important that we firm up NATO.
Yeah, we need to definitely pay attention to what BRICS is doing for
So
sure.
one tiny section of the massive 900 billion US National Defense Authorization Act includes a string of rules for a NATO withdrawal. So in case you want to fuck around, this is how you would find out.
Hmm.
In terms of the actual law, no president shall suspend, terminate, denounce, or withdraw from NATO without either an act of Congress or the approval of 2/3 of the U.S. Senate. You ain't gonna get 2/3 of the Senate for anything. I don't care
Yeah,
what,
I don't
like
think that's happening.
free puppies for anybody who wants them. You ain't gonna get 2/3. You ain't
Hmm.
get 2/3. Babies will automatically come with a free puppy. You're not gonna get well. Actually, it comes very tough, right?
I
Have a
don't
new
know.
baby
I don't know
and a
if you
free
can.
and a puppy at the
I don't
same
know if
time.
I don't know if you can supply that demand, but I don't know. That demand is gonna be crazy.
There's a lot of puppies out there that need adopting. By
That's
the way,
true. There's a lot of
I
puppies.
think
Yeah.
I'm finna pull the plug. I'm not plug. I'm finna pull the trigger. But damn, I don't like
Mm.
using that term pull the trigger because it kind of like it's back into the like it's the gun culture kind of bullshit. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah. Yeah.
this is it. I'm gonna do it. This is
Mm-hmm.
happening. I'm
Mm-hmm.
adopting a new dog. We'll put a pin in that and maybe that'll be like a segment for another time.
Mm-hmm.
But um okay, so man, let me get back. Let me get focus over here. So the no president shall okay, so no president should suspend, terminate, or denounce or withdraw from NATO. I'm thinking about like, wait a minute. They doing something else here too. That's like I hate when they do laws like this, where it's like it's not they don't have the penalty embedded in the law. Okay, so let's say okay, he can't suspend it, he can't terminate it, but then you also have denounce. What are you gonna do if he talks shit about NATO? What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
The law doesn't say anything you're gonna do about it.
Yeah.
It
There should be
should
no
also
action.
include if a president does any of these things, they will get a zoklo right in the back of the fucking neck or some
Mm-hmm.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
They will freaking get you know, personally fined $250,000 for every time that they do a quote unquote denouncement,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you might say, oh, First Amendment. You can say what you want to say. Even the president should be able to say what he wants to say. No, the First Amendment isn't unlimited. Sorry, it's not. It's we have precedents already. That's not unlimited. So no, if you're the president, you can't just do none of these things. But they don't have any punishment here.
What
So
what
he's
would
gonna
what would you say his reasoning is for trying to pull out of NATO entirely.
Man, he gives all kinds of freaking reasons.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about oh, we spend too much on it and it would help our budget if the other members of NATO contributed more and gave more money,
I've heard that argument.
and it's like, okay, it sounds like a convincing argument, but like some of these countries never have had a budget. Like we're the only country that really put that much money in our military like that. These other countries, they might do 1% of their budget or something like, but we do some like crazy numbers in terms of like how much you commit to our military and our quote unquote defense, which is a lot of it is offensive, right? And so these other countries don't do that, but you're asking them to pretty much change their entire identity to become to like dedicate way more of their budget, their annual budget towards their military, aka towards NATO.
Yeah.
They don't. We're the only ones that do shit like that. You know what I mean? We're like our defense budget.
Is it unreasonable to ask them to contribute more though?
It depends on. It's a country to country thing. It's a country to country thing because for example, a place like Germany, right? They have some history. You know what I mean? So even we were like, we're watching them like, yo, y'all can't invest too much in y'all military because y'all history. You know what I mean? And they're like, yeah, we shouldn't invest too much in our military. Hey, shout out to Germany, by the way. They're the one, like, talking about truth and reconciliation. They know what they did. They teach their kids about they did. You know what I mean? They put it in their laws. Yo, we did this bullshit and we're not trying to get back there again. Shout out to Germany for all that, like the whole freaking like America never doing some shit like that.
Of course not.
Where we own up the bullshit that we did, the freaking the terrorism that we might have called the coup d'etats that we created. America ain't doing nothing like that. But either way, it's reasonable to ask some countries to do it, but it also depends on their national identity and how the relationship has been with NATO over these these decades that this thing has been in place. But at the same time, we have a mantra here in the United States. It's like we invest in these things over there so we don't have to fight them over here.
Yes.
So so basically what they're trying to say is all the shit talking that he's doing, that Trump is doing right now in the campaign, about, and even before, talking about withdraw from NATO, like they put some stuff into law that like, nope, that's illegal. And the Supreme Court doesn't make laws. I'm gonna put that in quotes because there's some funny business going on there, but they could easily, the Supreme Court technically should be like, well, it's a law. We just interpret the law. It's a law. It's a law. You can't do this.
Simply just have the final say. That's really all it is.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's NATO, man.
So your boy Katt Williams, man. Everybody, everyone knows who Katt Williams is. At the gate, he's one of the GOAT comedians. Like we all know that. But he has a reputation of being.
I don't know if he gets enough flowers, man.
He doesn't. He is, as far as his accolades go, he's very well accomplished. Very well accomplished.
Yeah.
Some people even say he's the best comedian ever. I mean, my Mount Rushmore of comedians doesn't necessarily have Katt Williams on it, but he's in my top 7. So he's in my top 7.
Your Mount Rushmore. How much is Mount Rushmore? Is 5?
It's 4 heads.
It's 4?
4 yeah.
4 on Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
What's your top 4?
So my top 4 would be, let me see quickly, David Chappelle for sure. Like he's
up there for sure for me.
For me he's way up there. It's not even close. So it's Dave Chappelle.
I would have put him 1 though. I would put Eddie Murphy 1 personally.
Okay. But Dave Chappelle for me is definitely 1. Eddie Murphy is actually 3 for me. Martin is 4, and 2 is, dang, I was just thinking about this the other day. 2 is Bernie Mac. That's what it was. So one is Dave Chappelle, 2 is Bernie Mac, 3 is Eddie Murphy, and 4 is Martin. That's my Mount Rushmore.
I'm gonna tell you like this. Okay, so okay, so I don't have them in order, right? But damn, Mount Rushmore only get 4.
You only get 4. Yeah.
That's kind of hard. That's kind of tough. It's kind of tough.
And you don't have the excuse of having a fit spot, bitch. So you got to pick 4.
Mount Rushmore only got 4 honorable mentions. Honorable mentions. Dave Chappelle. Okay, so Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy for sure. Bro, I love Michael Shea, dog. He's just so smart.
Yo,
Michael Shea is just so
nah, bro, he ain't.
smart.
Nah, man, not Michael
I know he ain't got the
Shea,
catalog. I
man.
know he ain't got the
He
catalog.
don't.
That, but that
That's
would be.
like putting. That's like how people be talking about Biggie. Like, bro,
I
you ain't got enough.
know,
You
I
ain't got
know, I
enough,
know.
bro. Like,
That's why I would put him as like an honorable
okay,
mention. That's why I
okay.
kind of put him as an honorable mention.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Okay, so I can't do that. So Richard Pryor.
Bro,
You
Richard
you
Pryor before your time, man. That's nah, bro. You can't.
I go back. That's not before my time. That's 80s.
It is. But
I
you
was
but you were like a jit for
I
real
was
though,
legit,
Richard
but
Pryor.
I'm going back though, and I watched the old stuff.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I give you that.
I watched the old stuff. Like I
I give
didn't
you that.
grow up with him or anything like
Yeah.
that. Like even though he might have been around, but like I was like I watched the old stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so I like, oh, this guy's hilarious. Like
He
freaking
is though. He is though.
I
Yeah.
didn't watch what do they call it? Freaking damn the Eddie Murphy joint. I forgot what they call it. The one where he had the red leather joint on. You know what I mean?
Oh
I
yeah.
forgot what the name of that
What is it
special
called?
was.
Yeah.
Is it Delirious?
Delirious. That's what it is. It's delirious.
Delirious?
Delirious.
Okay,
Yes.
Delirious, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
like that's why he kind of up there. So it's kind of like that. So like with Richard Pryor as well, some of the he was doing cutting edge stuff, you
Yeah.
know, back then,
Mhm.
and so he would be up there in terms of my Mount Rushmore. And so it's kind of hard to be like, the question is, who's in the Mount Rushmore versus who's in my Mount Rushmore? Because
Mhm.
there may be people that's in this Mount Rushmore that like I haven't, I mean, some people put George Carlin in there, but like
Yeah.
I like George Carlin. It just like not my, but like in terms of like comedian all
Yeah.
time
And his body of work and all that.
body of work
Yeah.
would George Carlin would probably be up there,
Mhm.
Um, but so I got those guys, and I really like Kevin Hart. I like Kevin Hart.
Oh
I
my
really like
God.
Kevin
Come
Hart.
on, bro.
You know,
Not on
um,
Mount Rushmore though. That's
I don't know.
Kevin
I have to
Hart's
think about this. I have to think about this and get back
Kevin
to
Hart's
you.
a movie star. He's a movie star. That's what he is. Kind of like
He's a
you got
movie star, but I
same
know
types as Eddie Murphy and Martin.
like I saw him live
Stand-up's
before
alright.
he was a movie star.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I will put him in my Mount Kevin Hart. Yeah, a lot of people don't like him.
That
A lot of people
is
don't like
fair.
him.
I actually like Kevin Hart, but Mount
Yeah,
Rushmore, that's kind of
and I'll put I'll put Dave Chappelle. I'll put Dave Chappelle in my
mm,
for sure up there. So what did I
yeah.
say? Dave Chappelle,
You said Richard
um,
Pryor, then you said Michael Shea, then you said Kevin Hart.
and no, I said somebody else too.
You said we were talking about George Carlin for a little bit, but you didn't put him in the Mount
Okay,
Rushmore.
I have to get back. I have to get back on the solidified.
Yeah,
So
because I was gonna say that's
Eddie Murphy,
mm,
Dave Chappelle,
mm-hmm,
Richard Pryor,
mm-hmm.
um, damn, I don't know about that four. Oh, that's tough. Four? That's
Well,
it? Okay,
yeah,
four?
it's only four spots. It's only four
I don't know who
spots.
number four is, but Michael Shea gets honorable mention. That's all I'm gonna say that. But man, your boy Katt Williams,
Yeah, Cat
hilarious also.
yeah,
Hilarious
definitely.
out, bro. He stole that joke. He
Yeah,
stole that joke.
yeah.
That's Cedric
When
the
you look at
Entertainer. Stole that
when
joke.
you look at it and you look
Come
at
on.
it side by side, because I saw like side
Cedric
by
stole
side
that joke.
comparisons, and I was like,
Cedric stole that joke.
Patrick, you kind of took the
Cedric
boat, you
stole
kind of
that
took the
joke.
skeleton of that
Dog, that
joke,
shit
and
was so
it's
funny when
it
Cedric
was
did it at Kings of Comedy.
yeah, it was funny though. Yeah, when he did King's Connie, it was super funny. Yeah,
Cause the way
it was super funny.
he kind of like did the whole thing with the cigarette.
Yeah, yeah, the
And
way he
he
did,
like,
yeah,
he did the
it was
whole,
hilarious.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Kind of thing.
it was actually hilarious, and I can
Oh, that
understand
was
why Cat
so
would be upset because he's
funny.
like, dang, he really just took my joke and really want like he low
He
key
turned
like
into a
it turned
spaceship. He
into a
turned
whole
into a spaceship.
it's a spaceship. So, so Cat Williams, his whole thing was Cat Williams always been like essentially like kind of like a whistleblower, low key, like about things like the inner workings of Hollywood and things that's been going on behind the
That
scenes,
dude
like
is
wild
compelling
stuff.
whenever he talks.
Yeah, but he's
Whenever
just
he talks.
yeah, Cat Williams he's just super talented, like in literally everything he does as far as like vocally,
Yeah.
like comedians
He
talking,
opens his
interviews, all
mouth
that
and you
stuff.
should listen to
Yeah, like
to Cat Williams.
that man is a certified, and he's actually very smart. He's very
Yep.
intelligent.
Facts.
And and one of the reasons why
But
that
here's the
is
thing. But here's the thing.
mhm,
If you're a comedian, if you don't take a comedian seriously in terms of like their intelligence,
mhm,
you're actually the dumb person, probably.
yeah, yeah,
Comedians have to be very smart, especially a successful comedian.
And they have to be very observant.
Very observant, very sharp.
It's the
Know
premise
how
of
to
their
connect
job.
point A to point
Yeah.
Z, like
Yeah.
like comedians, and then to make you laugh about it.
Yeah, to make it actually funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all
it's
bugging
a
if y'all
real
not
talent.
respecting comedians' intelligence. Really.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so your boy Katt has like a crazy viral podcast with Shannon right now. Shannon Sharp. Y'all know Shannon Sharp. Club Shay Shay. Poppin' podcast. I love the podcast. It's really dope. He got a lot of dope people that I've actually was always interested in just kind of hearing some of their backstory, their journey through Hollywood or whatever. So it's always interesting some of the guests he has on. So it's something I wanted to actually talk about really quickly. It's four major bombshells that Katt Williams actually spoke about in the podcast, and I'm gonna try to get through this very quickly. So, first thing was he claimed that he claimed responsibility for removing a grape scene Friday After Next. You know, YouTube we gotta say grape. Yeah, so it's absurd. It's
I
absurd.
forgot.
So yeah, you just gotta be aware of that. But anyways, so apparently the pimp that Katt Williams played, Money Mike, was supposed to be getting raped by the character that Terry Crews played in the bathroom. If you remember that scene on Friday After Next. But what happened is, if you remember watching the scene, the pimp the pimp finessed Terry Crews, the Terry Crews character in the movie, had his balls in the vice grip and all that. So it was very hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
But the scene was the way it was supposed to go down. According to Katt Williams, was that he was supposed to actually get raped. That character, right?
And you know what? I couldn't believe that one because back then we was really playing fast and loose with stuff.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. And honestly, yeah. So we actually,
I can see them. I can see that being in the
script. Yeah, I can definitely see it being in the script. I was like, I can definitely believe that, right? So he was trying. He basically cleared that up and was like, yo, like, and Katt Williams at the time being like an up and coming comedian, he didn't really have the cachet to say that, but he felt strongly about it and it worked out. Right?
No, so I think Katt Williams was pretty established by then, though. I mean, as a comedian, not as a movie star, but I think as a comedian, he was established by then.
Katt Williams himself said, as far as like the movie, as far as being a movie star, that's what I'm saying. As far as being like someone in the movies, he was like, he doesn't have the cachet as a comedian, yes. But as an actor, he's like, I don't have the cachet to make this request, but I'm gonna make it anyways, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I
stand in your square.
Yeah, I
stand in your square.
And obviously they obliged. So that's just if that story is to be 100% accurate, which I think it is.
And I think it ended up being funnier.
Yeah, it did. It actually did. It did.
Even imagining the other thing, like that shit wasn't gonna be fun. That was gonna be low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
The big swole guy.
Yeah.
And he's a little small guy taking advantage. Like that shit's like cheap laughs. Cheap laughs. That's fart jokes.
So the next thing is so Ricky Smiley was the guy that, if you guys recall, one of the characters in Friday After Next was the Santa Claus character. The Santa Claus character was the guy that was robbing people, and obviously what makes that role kind of funny because the Santa Claus robbing people, right? So especially
giving out gifts.
Instead of giving out gifts. So and apparently their roles were swapped. Apparently Ricky Smiley came to audition for that Money Mike role, and Katt Williams was like, I mean, there were 200 guys that was in front of me. I was the 201st person that auditioned for.
So they clearly wasn't satisfied with the 199.
Right. And Katt Williams was like, well, Ricky, if you were that good, he would have got. Basically, what you're saying is, Ricky, if you were that good, then why did I end up getting a role? So basically, Katt was just like reiterating the point that I'm just better, I'm funnier, and I played the role better. And actually, Ricky Smiley himself even said, like, because Ricky Smiley actually responded to this whole interview, he even said himself that he did add a pimp twist that made that role even funnier. So he was like, yeah, Katt Williams, just nobody could have played that role better than Katt Williams at that time. So Ricky Smiley actually kind of agreed with him low key. But essentially that's what Katt Williams said will happen. They ended up swapping roles because
this is what I'm saying is like when you saying these things out loud in an interview, like you gotta really like be very honest or very much believe what it is that you're saying.
Yeah,
you could be wrong, but you gotta very much believe what you're saying because like, yo, we can hear this and you could be called to the carpet in the very next interview.
Yeah, for sure.
All these other people got platforms. Ricky Smiley got a radio show.
Yeah, Ricky
you gotta believe his audience is calling in.
Well, absolutely.
So they all got platforms, and so like, if you're gonna say some shit, you got like, okay.
And Ricky Smiley been around for a minute too, so they
been around for a minute.
People definitely inquire.
You know what? Shout out to him, and you know what I mean, and all flowers to him for the work that he's put in. but there's levels to this. And so in terms of like,
absolutely,
if you're a comedian,
absolutely,
Ricky Smiley ain't gonna be on nobody's Mount Rushmore. It shouldn't be.
Yeah,
Not on a respectful list.
Yeah, I don't think so. It is.
I could see Katt Williams being on people's list.
That
You know
and
what
that's what I'm saying. He's definitely there. Are people
Not
who say
Ricky
he's
Smiley though.
Yeah, not Ricky Smiley. Yeah, it's definitely levels.
Smiley.
It's definitely levels to it. And we talked about earlier about Cedric stealing Katt Williams' show, and it definitely seems like that. When you look at the footage, definitely seems like that. So I'm just gonna move on to the next thing. And the fourth thing is this whole thing with Steve Harvey. Apparently, Steve Harvey stealing his homeless narrative.
His whole backstory, kind of his backstory,
kind of like his backstory,
story, like Batman, the whole Batman backstory.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Just kind of gain sympathy, but also to gain some like some fame off of this particular backstory.
But like, it's not just necessarily some fame from it. The thing is like, I mean, America loves. It's not the fame. It's not, but
America does love like a backstory like that. I understand.
Yeah, like, America loves from what do they call it, from something to riches. What do they call it? From rags to riches.
From rags to riches, yeah.
Rags to riches story.
Yeah, so like that's true.
Yeah, maybe Steve Harvey might have said, "Oh snap, let me pick up on that and like do this story." Now, does it mean that it was Katt Williams' specific homeless or unsheltered story? That it could have been anybody, you know what I mean?
And that was my thing, right? I was like, Katt, that one might be a little bit of a stretch, man. Because Steve probably did go through a lot of what you went through, like so many other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get it, but to say that he specifically took that piece to create a narrative for himself, like from you specifically, like that might be kind of cap, bro. I think you're kind of embellishing there. You might like. I think Katt honestly feels that way, but I think there's a bit of embellishment there.
Speaking of springboards, COP28, right? People are cheering and excited that we have a climate agreement, a global climate agreement. They hype. They think we did something.
But that's what it sounds like.
You know already this was all Katt when you heard that this bit was held in Dubai. In Dubai. That bit was held in Dubai. You already know it was all Katt.
Dubai was
nearly 200 countries.
All the clout.
Yeah, agreed that moving forward that we're all gonna start phasing away from fossil fuels. Okay, great. But it didn't call for an outright phase out of oil, gas, or coal. And of course it gives all the nations a hella ton of wiggle room. Nobody is going to suffer any penalties, just like the whole thing we talk about NATO with Trump. If he denounces NATO, whatever, it ain't no penalties in there. If you don't meet these goals, these are all suggested shit. And you need every country in the world to simultaneously do it. It's doomsday. What are we doing? This is all fig leaf. Freaking UAE. That's where you're gonna hold the thing.
Why not, man? Dubai is a nice place to visit.
Built off the back of that sludge.
Yeah, that's true. The whole place was built off of that oil money. So let's keep it a bean.
Man, let's keep some context. Every summer month last year, from June to November. Is November still summer? I'm not sure exactly, but from June to November.
Wow. Let's see what you did there.
June to November, every summer month was a record-breaking heat. Since we've been keeping record.
Yeah.
Like 175 years.
Yeah.
175 years since we've been keeping record. This last summer, every single month from June to November was the hottest on record. Matter of fact, 2023 as a whole, you might have some months that might have been okay. They might have been like normal or standard or whatever. But as a whole, 2023, I'm gonna put it like this. 2023 is the second hottest year on record behind what the fuck we finna do in 2024. Mark my word. Mark my word. 2024 is gonna be the hottest year on record. 2023 is the hottest year on record that we got on record. 2024 is gonna top that.
That's quite a claim.
Hold my hot toddy. Hold my hot toddy. Hold my hot toddy. This is what's gonna be. We're not gonna fuck. You gonna hold the goddamn thing in Dubai. What are we doing? What are we doing? The Paris Climate Accord, all that stuff.
Dubai is trying to they trying to be on the right side of history.
Man, you fronting.
They trying to be on the right side of history.
Man, you fronting, man. So that's what's going on in the world of politics.
Mm-hmm.
It's bleak out there, but some people putting some stuff in order to try to like cover it or mitigate for it, but it's all a fig leaf to me. It's all a fig leaf.
I hear that. And even with that being said, man, we got a lot of guys. Well, we got folks really trying to not get caught up in that web. There's a bit of a funny moment that happened on College Game Day, right? And your boy, this is the funny thing about it. This is the funny thing. Well, there's quite a few funny things about it, but the funnier thing about it is that if you saw Reese Davis's face, bro,
he looked so serious.
Reese Davis was like he
looked so dead serious.
It took him a while to really like he was like, I don't know what you like. That's what made it. No,
that nigga needs that.
Nah,
give my man's an Academy Award.
Nah, man, nah. Reese Davis
gotta know.
Nah.
This is gotta know. No,
this is where Reese was. Nah, man. This is where Reese was thinking in his mind when all this is going on. In his head, he immediately was thinking like, they're not thinking about. Nah, that can't be.
No,
that
he
can't
knew
be what they're referring to.
Bullshit. He knew. He knew.
That can't be what they're referring to. Nah, man. He was like, no, not right. No, that can't be it.
That boy saw his whole contract flash before his eyes.
Reese Davis was like, I am not gonna take this L like your other boy. Like your other boy.
He's like, not today, Satan.
He's like,
Jalen Milroe often wears his own branded apparel reading L.A.N.K across the front. It's an acronym that stands for Let a Naysayer Know. Being told by his former offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien.
That is not what I thought.
Is that not what you thought?
Boy, let a naysayer know.
Let a naysayer know.
Of course. The professional's right in the middle of his lead.
That's all right. I just keep going.
You almost lost me. It got real tight up here as you were. I just want to let you know.
Reese, you were too smooth with that. I thought it was going down. I thought it was going down out here. I looked over at Liz.
Oh, sorry about it. Let a naysayer know.
Let a naysayer know.
Naysayer know. That's what we thought the whole time. That's what we all thought.
Those of us who are more pure in thought knew that it was the naysayers who needed to know, and being told by his former offensive.
A naysayer know?
But he's not familiar with those.
A naysayer?
A naysayer is kind of.
If you gotta make something up,
yeah, that's it. It's obvious. It's like, bro, that's the word you want to use in that phrase.
That's how I knew.
Know? Come on.
That's how I knew he knew. That's how I knew he knew. Bullshit. Naysayer. He knew what that N stood for. That N word knew what that N word stood for.
I mean,
that naysayer knew. That naysayer knew.
He probably. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna cap. He knew what that was. I'll be honest.
No, he been around too many black co-hosts.
Yeah, he knew what it was.
Too many black athletes.
He knew what it was. It's the funny thing is like, why did they give Reese Davis the segment to even talk about that? Like, why they just let? why they ain't give it? Were they testing? Were they trying to test it? Why were they trying to test him? Like to see, like, let's see if he gonna slip up. Like, why would you test him like that? Like, what is the purpose of that?
It be the stuff that happened like this. Where I be like, y'all don't have no black people in the room.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't got no naysayers in the room, dog, to tell y'all, yo, y'all gonna have the white dude say naysayers. Like, we all know it's not naysayers, right? Y'all know it's not naysayers, right?
We all know it's not.
Bill, hey, Bill, come over here, Bill. You see the thing on his shirt?
Yeah.
What do you think the N stands for? I don't know. What does the rest of it stand for?
Just asking
the
L
stands for let, the A stands for A,
and
then the K stands for no. What does the N stand for? Bill. Bill is like Homer Simpson.
Yeah. Yeah, Bill immediately is gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I see where you're going."
Not today, not today, Naysayer. Not today, Naysayer. You almost had me, Naysayer.
You're not gonna give me shit. No, I ain't gonna lie, be like it don't even take a second to
Come
peep
on,
like
dog.
okay,
Ain't no
I see,
way that
I
he
see
thought
what-
that bitch
I
said
see what's-
Naysayer, dog. Y'all set that man up.
Yo.
Y'all tried.
Yo, but
Y'all tried.
this is the problem
We're
with
trying to set
having
him up.
this is the problem with having guys like Pat McAfee, who's literally an intrusive thought. He's a walking intrusive thought.
Hey,
Pat
he like
McAfee
me.
says everything
You see
on
on the
his
show.
head.
You see on the show. Y'all lucky I got McAfee in the suit.
Yo,
McAfee is just a regular ass
Listen,
dude out here.
if you ever seen Pat
Collecting a
McAfee show and
paycheck.
actually sat through his show, Pat McAfee, he don't, he's unfiltered. He's
That
legit.
dude is a regular ass guy.
And-
No train. He's like, whoa.
And then Joey Galloway was like, "It's
thought it was
going
going
down." I
down.
thought it was going. And that, you know what's so funny about the interaction? The two black guys, right? Desmond Howard and Joey Galloway. While it was going on, they kind of looked at each other and was like, "You thought?" He was like, "Yeah, I thought it was going." They both was looking at each other.
I think
That's
they might have
crazy.
thought. I think they might have thought that maybe he's gonna say N-word. Let an N-word know.
Mhm.
They might have, but even then, that would have been like crazy.
But see that would have been crazy because it's okay. So this is the logical fallacy in that though, because of the segment. The segment is supposed to be a positive segment to highlight.
Oh,
So
but why
that would
started
even
with that crap, man?
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why that wouldn't have even been an option. Like they wouldn't even thought about he wouldn't even thought about even saying like N-word. You know what I'm saying?
Because
of the connotation.
and matter of fact, nobody knows what the rest of that fucking segment was about.
That's true.
Because we stuck on this fucking thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Yeah.
completely stepped on your own freaking product.
Mhm.
You know, because that was fucking.
But it became
Wild.
one of the funniest TV moments of I guess 2024. But like it became one of the funniest TV moments. So it a seemingly horrible incident it turned into a funny moment, right?
A viral moment.
And because
But
of
it's
Reese
like
because of Reese Davis's training, he peeped it. He peeped what was going on. He was like,
because
"I'm a
that
stone
nigga
face
mortgage
the whole way."
because of that Naysayer's mortgage.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
He was
He's
about
like,
to be a
he's like,
stone
wait a
face,
minute, I got the mortgage to pay. Not today, not
He was
today.
like, yeah. So
You know what else I saw though? Yo, they benched Russell Wilson.
Yeah. So one thing about Russell Wilson, and this is kind of the crazy part too. So the Broncos had so just a quick little backstory. The Broncos signed him to a deal 2022, 5 years, 242 million. Right? 5 years, 242 million, guaranteed 39 million in 2024. The Broncos don't want to pay that. 2044 this year. So guaranteed he's supposed to get a guaranteed 39 because he already got like his 37, 37, 38 for obviously 2023 to 2024, 39 million, right? The Broncos, they don't want to pay that because at the time that he was signed in 2022, your boy Russell Wilson was getting busy. He was getting busy, and they were like, "Yo, this guy looks like
Seahawks wasn't going to pay him and continue with him." So.
And not only that, yeah, exactly. And not only that, at that time, a lot of QBs were getting like big contracts. So of course, Russell Wilson and his team was like, "Yo, we got
Watson got some freaking his
Deshaun
entire
Watson.
contract.
Yeah, he got like a 5 year, 200 something million. Yeah,
This
the
entire
Browns.
contract was guaranteed. Never happened before.
Yeah, crazy. So as far as this Russell Wilson thing though, it's more about his performance on the field, right? This is the crazy thing though.
Performance on the field. I thought they started off like
I'm getting that. So I'm getting there. So the Broncos at the time when all this was happening, when he was about to get benched, they were 3-5, right? The benching was supposed to happen week 9. They were off week. So it's kind of like when Smokey was talking to Cube on Friday. He's like, "You got fired on your day off."
Fired on the day off. Like,
so
who gets fired on the day off?
So during the bye week in week 9, that's when
But still in boxes.
So week 9 is when he got the news and he was going. You know, they were conversing about that whole situation, like what benching and all that. And this is the crazy thing though. So they were 3-5, right? It's like okay. They had higher expectations for him because of the salary, right? This is the thing though. Russell Wilson has 66% completion. His passing completion is at 66%. 66% completion passing rating. 3,070 yards passing. 26 CDs, 8 interceptions. and basically 6.87 as far as like yards per attempt that he would acquire through like a completed pass. So basically, he's getting a first down every 2 passes, right? So when you look at those
And
numbers,
it
you're
ain't
like,
on Russell Wilson that y'all
Yeah,
got
so-
beat by 70 points
right,
by the Dolphins. Yeah, 70
Right.
points on y'all by the Dolphins.
I got 7
Russell
points on-
Wilson
yeah,
can't play defense.
bro. And I'm like, so when you look at these numbers, it's like, yo, that's actually decent. And as a matter of fact, Russell Wilson is really the only reason why the Broncos is even at 8-9 right now. They're 8
They
and
had
9
a
right
5-game winning streak with him.
now. Yeah. So I'm like,
It all came down to money.
yeah, absolutely. Because
They're gonna owe the dude 40 mil this year, 2024.
2024. They don't want to pay him. So one of the stipulations was for him to pass a physical on the 5th day of the new league year, this coming March. Then he passed the physical, that he would be owed 37 another 37 million. Right.
Yeah.
So 39 million he's guaranteed.
Because
another
the
37 million.
injury because the injury clause didn't kick in because he's not injured.
Right, exactly. So that's an incentive, a part of the contract, right? So they're trying to pay him, and the Broncos know if they bitch him, he can't meet his marks, right? In order to get paid out. So basically, with all this being said, y'all, the Broncos are trying to finesse him.
He could meet. He doesn't have
No, if he bitch him,
that part isn't part of his. Those may be his bonuses, but his contract.
No, he has his contract. So are you saying this? So this is the thing, though. There's still a performance clause in his contract, though. His contract is not just fully guaranteed entirely.
No, I get that, but I'm talking about in terms of them benching him, it's not going to affect him getting the money that he's owed.
So what do you think about
they
that
bench
part?
him? That would be the bonuses, right?
Okay.
But the thing is, excuse me. Here's the thing. A, you can't get your bonuses. B, you can't get your stats, which you would need for your next contract or whatever, right? Imagine like this. I owe you $40 million, right? Today. I owe you that bit today. And then I come to you and be like, how about this? I'm gonna owe you your 40 mil. I'm gonna give you your 40 mil, but let me just give you 20 mil today. And I'm gonna give you the other 20 mil next year. Just postpone that bit a little bit. And he's supposed to be like, because his contract says, no, you owe me 40 million today, 2024.
Yeah.
You owe me today. And they're like, because their salary cap issues or because of their freaking
It's not my fault.
whatever the accounting they're doing. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can't, bro. Give me my monies.
I need my 40 acres in a mule.
I need my 40 and a mule today.
Yeah.
This is what the contract was.
Yeah.
You will come to me but then not only that, you threaten me.
Yeah,
and
that's the problem.
You say if you don't take this alteration to the deal that we made,
we're gonna bench you.
We're gonna bench you. Now, mind you, they bench him. That don't put him out of the contract. He's still going to get his money for the contract. He won't get bonuses and all that kind of stuff. And also now he's benched, which is so dumb. They're still in the freaking. I think they could have still got wild card.
Yeah.
How you going to come to him after the freaking bye week after a 5-game winning streak and tell him, hey, do this, change your contract, or we're going to threaten you with benching you. So you're willing to sacrifice your season, which is still viable because he brought y'all back. He brought you, and again, that 70-point L that y'all took with the Dolphins. It can't be on Russell. He can't play. He's not on defense, right? But you're gonna put it on him to change and restructure his contract so that it can help your bottom line.
Yeah.
Who knows what the fuck you gonna do with that money? What? Build another fucking wing for the VIPs or some shit?
Probably give more money to the
give me my monies. Give me my monies now. They
need that bread.
They trying to make him, and he's like, nah, bro. This was so they actually did it. They benched him.
Yeah,
they benched him.
Yeah, we saw that.
They did it. They benched him, and so like, and they lost.
Just to be clear, even with the situation with the physical, which is one way that benching would actually kind of help in that situation because it'll put him out of harm's way. But that was kind of the way that the Broncos was trying to spin the story, like, hey, this could actually help with him meeting that clause right as far as the physical. But if you were to miss a physical or is unable to pass a physical, then the Broncos is actually obligated to give him a $37 million payout for 2025.
That's the injury clause.
Yeah. So just for clarity, so people can understand that part of this whole thing. So, but yeah, I mean, they obviously with all of this happening at the time that it did, it definitely caused the Broncos who was their third in their division, AFC West. It basically kind of took them out of contention to even at least try to get a wild card spot. And this is the same guy who is like ninth in pass TDs. So
He's
out of
not bad.
He's not bad. He's not bad.
I mean, out of
19th in
32
passing yards.
teams,
Yeah. I mean, this guy is
not bad. So this clearly they're trying to play some money game on that boy.
And that's just what it is.
What up, fam? It's Darwin, the guy that was just talking. First off, thanks for watching and supporting the show. But I got to give y'all some homework. Your challenge, if you choose to accept it, is to interact with the show. That means 1, hitting that like button, because I know you like our stuff. 2, make sure you subscribe so we can swim our way up your timeline whenever we drop new content. The third thing, please share the channel with your friends. Maybe they'll learn a thing about a thing or two. Oh, last thing, we're over here talking about what y'all talking about. So go ahead and carry that conversation on into the comments. We be up in there too.
It's challenge day.
You had to like really be like a higher
The
episode like that.
culture, the culture was like, nah,
the culture was like, you gotta go in. You know what I'm saying? It's jumping on the metro or driving in or just being on like that was just the culture, right? It is what it is. You're gonna
an hour and a half you should take me to get to work, and they ain't paying me for that hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming and going.
Listen. So the pandemic actually like really changed, obviously really changed. It really turned the tables to like allow employees to have a little bit more say, especially if you're an employee who has leverage, right? And you're leveraged from like your performance, your importance, your knowledge base, all these different things, right? If the company really sees it as an asset, and now it's becoming like a thing that people are just requiring when it comes to the job application process, right? Especially if you have skill set that companies need. For me in particular, I have that skill set, right? So I've been working remote for almost 3 years now. I'm currently working on a project that requires me to go to a client site every now and then. So that's, I'm not really tripping on that because that's like once a month kind of thing. And that may actually change down the line because I'll be able to offload some of the work to like the lower tier guys that can handle that stuff. So I won't even need to be on the site as often.
Talk Naysayer. Talk Naysayer.
So, but like my life has been totally adjusted, right, to working remote. Like it's for me right now, the way my life is set up, like it's a requirement out the gate. Like I'm not even entertained. Like it would have to be so lucrative for me to be like, all right, I go into the office 5 days a week. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be like really lucrative, right? And when I say lucrative, like you better have that bag for real for me.
Let's put a pin in that to next season where Jeff is like, so I'm working full time inside the office now.
But
wait a minute, if I'll carry the two.
But yes. So if you see working in the office, you know what happens. So, but anyways, but I've realized, it's really something that like I tried to actually even consider, like when I was going to the client also, I was like, is this something I can like really just like get used to again? And I came to the conclusion, I was like, nah. I was like, I really don't enjoy this at all. Like I'm like, it's like every part of it actually stresses me out. Every part of it is tiring and fatiguing. Getting there, going through traffic, dealing with people on the road, getting to work, dealing with certain things you can't necessarily, like certain freedoms you can't necessarily have at work, right? And people like moving kind of gingerly because the whole politicking in different spaces and government spaces and all that stuff. So that's always annoying because you can see people
code switching.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can see the code switching, right? And it's like, and it's so cringe, bro. It's so cringe. It's like, oh, like it gets under your skin because you peep it. If you're in these spaces for a while, like I've been and Darwin, like you can see it. Like you can see it, and people's like, that ain't you, bro. That ain't really you, bro. And like, but we know we got to kind of play the game a little bit, right? Like, because it's just the nature of it. So it's like we gotta, politic a little bit, but we have to carry ourselves a certain way, and especially as like, because again, moon noir, so
black. Blackness.
You know what I'm saying? So
naysayers in the workspace.
You feel me? And then you got Moon Blanc, you know what I'm saying? That you gotta like kind of carry yourself a certain way. So like, so that you kind of have to present yourself a certain way, you know what I'm saying, as a black person. So so it's but I realized, man, I was sitting at the desk that I was given to like kind of like I have like a specific reserved space for me to be able to go
Sign
to.
space.
Yeah, like a sign space. Like whenever I go in, like I got everything set up there, and I remember just sitting there and I was just looking around. I was just like, bro, this is not the future of like work. It really
especially
isn't,
with
bro. Like,
especially with the technology that we got now. Come on, stop.
man. I was just like, I don't. I was like, I'm like, I don't. I'm like, okay. If you're a director of a company, I can understand, right? Like,
But
it
even
will
a
make more
director
sense,
don't be
even
on the day-to-day like that.
yeah, but directors,
they
but
be in
they don't.
Dubai somewhere,
That's a fact.
representing the company in the damn climate joint.
I ain't gonna lie. That's a whole fact. But you know what? What I noticed that a lot of directors have been doing is, directors are client-facing positions though. Like, and a lot of these a lot of like
they
the
be out
clients
the office.
yeah, like they won't be like, but they be on site, like on different clients. You know what I'm saying? Like physically being somewhere is what I'm saying. Like physically being at a client site because you're doing a negotiation, you're talking, you're doing
but
all
you're
that.
not
So
gonna
like,
be assigned room number 203.
yeah,
and
that's true.
sitting there
That's
all
true.
that damn day in that damn office.
That's very
you're
true. Yeah,
gonna go be
you're not
glad
doing that.
handing and in front of people,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be traveling.
And you're gonna
to
be
go, like, to see
traveling
clients
and
stuff like that.
That's very true. That's very true.
Maybe middle management. Middle management's the people that be like,
yeah, that be the ones. Yeah, the middle management, they be the ones that be
they be there all their goddamn time because
They
they're trying
do.
to get to that fucking other role.
Yeah, for sure. Because they are like basically like the liaison between like the lower tier guys and like the directors. So they got to contact with, they got to be in communication with everybody. They got to be in the know with everything. And yeah, so you're right about that. So the reason why this is a challenge for me is because like I especially being in a tech space, it's obvious. I can see that that's just not the way of the future, right? Like just being in these buildings. These buildings could have been like apartments, townhomes, and houses. You know what I'm saying? Like
it could have been
places,
urban
right?
farms.
It could have been urban farm. It could have been a lot of different things, right? And it's like, and actually, if there's been like if you've been following this a little bit as far as the real estate, there's people who they can't. People are not coming in, so it's kind of like they're like wasted spaces. So it kind of gives these companies incentives to be like, yo, yeah, I shouldn't even be renting these places out, these buildings out for real, right?
But like now you got these behemoths sitting in the middle of cities with nobody in them.
Nobody in them. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Y'all figure something out.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, for real. So like, you just gotta make a better use of that space for sure. So so it's a challenge for me because I can see beyond the horizon, right? And essentially, man, it's kind of like it's what's become more important to me as I've been aging and maturing is quality of life. It's just quality of life. But like, I'm not getting paid for the hour and a half in traffic going there and coming back. That's 3 hours on the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not getting every day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you only got 24 hours of gone already.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, and that's not counting like you have to get up like an hour and a half, 2 hours before to like get up and prep yourself if you want to make breakfast. If you have a wife and kids, you got to kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do your little things in the morning. Like, say you got to drop your kids off and like, now let me give you a scenario. So you got to drop your kids off to because on your way to work, drop your kids off to school. Yeah, that's stress, right? Because you got a lot of parents, they drop kids off, kids doing all types of stuff, you're dropping them off. So you're already kind of stressed, and now you got to hit traffic, and now it's more stress. And then now you get to work. Now you got to deal with like Karens at work and deal with, you know what I'm saying? Deal with like managers or like directors who are just like super lofty in what they want, just doing and
we've all been there.
Unreal expectations. And I'm sorry.
We've all been there. We know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like and all these things, you realize that as you get older, you realize like, bro, this is
what is important to you.
It's draining. Yeah, it's draining. It's so draining. Like, if you ever wonder why when you get home from work that you're drained, that you're tired, think about all those elements of your day.
All those steps
from the time you wake up, by the time you come back home,
and then they give you a Saturday and Sunday, and you don't even get the whole Sunday because Sunday afternoon you be like,
you're thinking about what you got to do. Because I ain't gonna lie, I was thinking even today, and it's crazy. I can only imagine people go to work 5 days a week. I work remote predominantly, right? Like 90% remote. Even I'm thinking about what I got to do tomorrow, today, and I'm 90% remote. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and I'm just like, I woke up this morning, and I was thinking like, bruh. I sat up on bed. I was like,
for your own mental health, dog.
Yeah,
this shit is like stressful, dog.
It's a lot, bro. Like, it's just like, so you realize that money can't necessarily buy like happiness,
the quality of life, or the happiness that you're looking for.
But yeah, it can't buy that, but it can certainly help. It can certainly help, right? It can certainly help to like create at least some semblance of a better quality of life. But it's really time. It's really time. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? When you have more time to yourself, more time to really
To do the things that
decompress,
you
to do
care
the things
about.
that you care about, it
Yeah.
helps your quality of life
Yeah.
in its entirety. You know what I'm saying? And I realize that's really what it's about, bro. Like that's really what it's about. It's really about quality of life. So like, so my challenge is this is my, just to be concise. My challenge specifically is to continue on this trend of focusing on my quality of life, but to continue to upskill so that I can continue to demand the type of work-life balance.
What up, fam? It's Darwin, the guy that was just talking. First off, thanks for watching and supporting the show. But I gotta give y'all some homework. Your challenge, if you choose to accept it, is to interact with the show. That means 1, hitting that like button, cause I know you like our stuff. 2, make sure you subscribe so we can swim our way up your timeline whenever we drop new content. The third thing, please share the channel with your friends. Maybe they'll learn a thing about a thing or two. Oh, last thing, we're over here talking about what y'all talking about. So go ahead and carry that conversation on into the comments. We be up in there too.
Bro, what do you have? Is there a challenge that you was able to address or
I
conquer?
challenged myself with making some soup Joumou,
Okay.
right? So we're recording, this is a little bit after New Year's,
Yeah.
and traditionally Haitians eat pumpkin soup Joumou, on it's really squash specifically, you know what I mean?
Pumpkin base and all that.
Yeah, pumpkin based, you know what I mean? Try to make that on January 1st in celebration of Independence Day.
Have you ever had a soup that tastes like freedom? Yes, I said it. Freedom. In 1791, the enslaved people of the French colony of Saint-Domingue, now Haiti, shocked the world by setting fire to the sugarcane fields, revolting against the slave system that kept them in bondage. They prevailed, gaining their freedom and establishing Haiti on New Year's Day in 1804. Ever since, Haitians have celebrated Independence Day by making soup Joumou, a dish steeped in African
I've tried
tradition.
to make my own a couple of times now. You know, we don't always get the opportunity to go to the family, you know what I mean? Like, you know, they're out of town and stuff like that to get some like home cooking, some original like Haitian style, you know, soup
Yeah.
Joumou or any other kind of dish, really.
Mhm.
And so I took on the just at least up here for me and my and for me and mine up in this area to try to create it or recreate it and try as much as I can to keep and get the authenticity of the soup, you know, represented up here. And it's been a couple of years. I've been working on my recipe. Last year it was okay, but like it was, I could see like here's the thing. I judge it like this. Can a random Haitian come try my soup and like and be like, oh, did your auntie make this? Or oh, do you have a cousin that's here? Somewhere? No, that was me. That was my soup. Oh, you made it? And like eyes pop out, you know, and be like, oh snap. Not that it's great, but that it's like, I'm surprised that this is so authentically like familiar, you know. So this is what I'm going for to try to like. But last year, you know, I added my own little personal touch here, you know, to but it kind of like changed up the flavor profile a little bit too much.
Yeah.
It might have still been, it's still good. I'm gonna make food that's edible. You know what I mean? I'm a decent cook. You know, it's gonna be edible, but it was like, okay, this isn't sushi. You know what I mean? Like you got the stuff, components, but it ain't land like the way it's supposed to. And so I maybe make it maybe twice a year. The main time is gonna be the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Then I make it again later in the year just to kind of keep my practice up, you know what I mean? So I could like, because you only make it once a year, like last, you know what I mean? You're gonna forget how to adjust things kind of. So you got to keep up. If anything, you want to get good at something, you need like Malcolm Gladwell say, those 10,000 hours kind of thing, right? But I'm not gonna make this soup every month. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Although I could eat that because I really like some sushi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And get some practice in. But I made a batch like a month ago, and I was like, oh, well, this is good. This is hitting. Like the spices was right, and like they hit the back of your you know your palate like at the right moment with the right kind of like consistency. It might have been a little bit on the spicy side. I did something funky with the Scotch bonnet But it was still good. It wasn't like too distracting, but it was like identifiable, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But also I didn't have enough like broth in it. So that
Okay.
like if you didn't eat it like right away,
Yeah.
and you let it sit, that bit's gonna like
That might gonna be like clay.
soak up and it could be like clay kind of thing.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
still might taste straight when you microwave it, but it ain't gonna be soup. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like
yeah.
it's real kind of thick. So when you've had soup like that before.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to avoid that, which I did. Man, my pot was like brim to the brim.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It was to the brim. Because I had folks over, and the only Asian really was you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That was there. And so what you, in terms of like authenticity, in terms of like if you didn't know I made it, you just walked in, and like this soup was there. And
Yeah, I'd
like
been
there
like,
was
yeah,
a
I'd be
room
like,
of like 100 people, so you don't know what would you have thought?
yeah, I would have been like, this is Super Joumou. Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I think this is good. Yeah.
Is it? That's it. That's all you got for me?
Yeah.
That's it?
No,
Is
no. I mean, I wouldn't have been like running around and doing backflips and like, hey, this is like, hey, who made this? Hey,
know what
and
happened, the way you just reacted just
like, did
now.
you make it? Did you? No, but-
The way you reacted just now is like,
no, it was no, it's
it ain't, bro. It
no,
don't cost you nothing
listen.
to give me my flowers,
Oh
dog.
my gosh,
It don't cost you nothing,
We-
dog. If that bit was
we've
lip
crossed this road
smacking,
before. We've crossed this road before.
it don't cost you nothing, dog. It's just your pride. That's it. It's just a little bit of pride. Was that bit hitting?
No, man.
It wasn't hitting?
Yeah, it was. I'm not saying that it wasn't.
Yeah, I had it. It was nice. It was
no.
okay. That's what I got. I got
No.
a fucking Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh over here. You know what I mean? I'm thinking I did a good
I'm
thing.
just saying, no, it was good. I'm saying,
What
it
other
was good,
Sujumu you
man.
had this year? It's the best Sujumu you had this year. How about that?
I haven't had any other Super Joumou this year.
That's why I know it's confident to say it's the best.
I can see that. I can see that.
That's all I know.
Oh,
But
yeah,
yeah,
it is the only Super Joumou I've been able to have. Yeah,
but
so,
my wife has had some in the past,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
our family,
Mm.
and the one that I made previously, she was like, I mean, granted, you know what I mean, the big caveat, she's not Haitian, but she's tried our stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
she's
We've
matter
had it
of fact, matter of fact, she probably would be the more objective because
yeah, because she's had variations of
it's not she's had variations, and she's not like, she doesn't have like, oh, this is my auntie, so it's always gonna have this nostalgia.
Oh
for my
yeah, so
auntie
it's
or my
more
cousin. But no,
objective.
for her, it's like, I tried this soup, I tried that soup. So she's tried a couple different soups from our family.
Yeah.
And the last one that I made, not this one, but the last one, she was like, this is the best. Like, all the caveats, throw them out there.
Yeah.
But she was like, yo, this is the best one I've had, right? And so again, this one wasn't that, but that one also dried up fast. You know what I mean? So she ate it like right away though, at the pot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was good. It was, consistency was nice and all that kind of stuff. But like, and she also, she likes her stuff spicy. You know what I mean? So that one was a little bit more spicy because Scotch bonnet. So there's some caveats here and there and everything, but it was good. It was good. You know what I mean? So I built off of that one, but I knew that I had like a little bit of a larger audience this time around. Because what I did was I had some of my friends come over, and some of them tried it. You came over, and I'm introducing this thing, and I actually had to provide some history to some folks about like why this is important, why this is our tradition, kind of thing. And like, part of the tradition is to share it, to share the soup. That's why I had this thing filling to the brim.
Yeah.
And it was good enough that some people took some to go.
Yeah.
And so the challenge is this is it. Try to get good at that soup Joumou. I think I'm gonna do it again in the summer. This summer, it's a summer squash. I think that's a thing. You know what I mean? That's a thing. And I'm gonna use the same squash, but I mean, like,
that's an American thing.
it's an American thing. So it's like the gourd and
I see,
pumpkins and stuff. Man, six, like, so it's it. You know what I mean? This is like that kind of thing.
That's
Like,
true.
so it's a westernish kind of thing. You know what I mean? In terms of pumpkins and whatnot and squash and stuff. So it's gonna be a season. Anyways, that would be my chance to practice it mid-year. You know, I practice me. So I'm probably gonna make it again in the summer, and then I'll be good to go. Maybe I'll make it again like a month out again, like maybe in December.
Mhm.
You know, early December I might make it, and then so I could be ready for January 1st. So I'm trying to get good. That's my challenge, to get good at making some authentic tasting sushi.
But I think the good thing here, at least a silver lining here, and I think it's a pretty broad silver lining. Um, I mean, you have a baseline. Like you have a baseline of exactly of how to make it. You have a currently you have a feel for it, but you're getting a better feel for it. Exactly how, you know what I'm saying.
And the one that I made this
how you
was
want
okay. It was
Yeah,
pretty
the one that
good.
you made was good. Yeah, the one that you made was good. And I think the next level is like perfecting this or getting it to a level where it's like it's repetitive. Then you could probably start experimenting, like, hey, let me see how, you know what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
it really
Well,
like
well,
just
well,
show.
one experiment that I've already done differently that specifically is my sushi. I don't see this in other people's sushi. I don't know if anybody else does it. I'm sure they do it, but I use oxtail.
Yeah,
in
oxtail is really
corporate.
good. Oxtail is, especially like, and what's the good thing about oxtail specifically is just the flavor that it gives. Any soup that you put oxtail in is gonna be busted.
It's gonna be hitting.
It's gonna be hit. Like oxtail
Yeah.
just gives you that type of that. It just gives you that type of
Yeah,
that
but you know, when you're making Haitian food or Caribbean food, you know, you the bone is part of the
bonus
thing.
part of it. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because the marrow
Yeah.
seeps out from there, and the
Yep.
bone adds a little flavor, extra flavor to it. You got, man, you can even buy bone broth. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
this is why
Yep.
it adds to the flavor of what it is you're cooking. So oxtail got a bone already up in it, so I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what I
Yes,
mean?
it's
Might as
definitely
well
going.
add some oxtail. So that's just my personal little touch to it. And then like over time, I might add a little couple, you know, hints of Darwin here and there. In terms of my own little my you know, spice it up a little bit different, maybe add a little component, maybe the noodle, change the noodle up maybe or something like that. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
That would be
I'm not
interesting.
sure. You know what I mean? Because like the particular noodle you use can be a little bit more silky, you know, as you eat it. You know, the mouthfeel might be a little different. The flavor profile doesn't change, but the mouthfeel might be a little different.
Yeah, the texture.
How I chop up the vegetables.
Yeah.
Some call it for shredded. Maybe I might want to do a little cube, you know what I mean, or diced, depending on, you know, and how I want like the spoon experience to be with it. So there's a whole science to the soup making, y'all.
Yeah,
Don't think any science to that joint.
Yeah, good
And
soup,
it's not just
good
Haitian soup. All soups, they have a science to make it. It's
Absolutely.
like baking almost sometimes.
That's why you have like chili competitions and all that stuff. Like it's it really is a science for sure. Yeah, so that's dope, man. Like having tradition, having culture, I think is very very important. That's something that a lot of groups of people don't necessarily have. That's something that I hold dearly for like my people for sure. My traditions.
It's Challenge Day.
1492. Christopher Columbus lands on the island of Hispaniola and begins enslaving its people. European diseases and brutal working conditions bring the indigenous population to the brink of extinction. Over the next 300 years, hundreds of thousands of slaves are imported to meet the needs of their European colonizers. 1791 through 1804. Fueled by the ideals of the French Revolution, the Haitian Revolution begins when slaves and those of mixed race rise up against their oppressors in one of the largest and most successful slave rebellions in history.
Recent headlines in the news that she actually decided to step down, and I think Darwin's going to take us away and just give us more of an explanation.
She almost was, you know, skated past this thing. It all started because
that's why I was kind of surprised. That's why I was kind of surprised she stepped down.
Yeah, and you know, I'm gonna get to I'm gonna put a pin in that and get to that in a second. But for some backstory here, bro, this thing in Gaza is like, we're talking about these bombings in Gaza. We're talking about
connected with
these is all connected to this freaking like war that is like indiscriminate to the point where it destroyed 3 careers.
Bro, this is America, bro. You can't talk about those guys. you can't
say nothing like it's not even. It's the people in charge over there. It's the government over there that's just like, this guy Netanyahu is really just trying to stay out of jail, because he's done some illegal stuff over there, and while he's president, this is kind of the same thing Trump is trying to do. You know, he's trying to become
Yeah.
president, so he can't be legally held accountable. And so Netanyahu is of the same ilk. You know what I mean? I think he's got some like corruption charges and all that kind of stuff that he's actually postponed because there's a war now. So he needs the war to go on as long as possible to give him some time to get off the. But as soon as this thing, if there's a ceasefire, if there's a treaty, if there's a like an end in fire, it's immediately back on him.
Yep.
So part of the fallout for all of this is there's these protests going on college campuses and stuff. And so
yes,
some of these protests can get pretty incendiary. And some of them are really pushing the bounds of what is covered under the First Amendment. Right. And we kind of talked about the First Amendment before, but I feel like we got to keep reminding people, the First Amendment, we're going to have to keep doing it. We're just got to keep doing it. I said this before, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it again in the future. The First Amendment is the government, what the government can do to you and stop you from doing, right?
Yes.
The other thing about it is that the First Amendment in and of itself is not unfeathered. It's not unlimited. Right? We have a lot of people that want it to be. We have a lot of people that challenge it. There's still some First Amendment absolutists out there. And the First Amendment allows you to do that, to be an absolutist. But guess what? That ain't the law, though. That ain't the way precedent works. You can argue about it all you want to change it, to make it an absolute law, but it still ain't that way yet, right? So people are free to say, a lot of what they want to say. And these college campuses, what they're allowed to say on these college campuses in terms of a protest, you got to think about it too, that it's an institution of higher learning. It's supposed to push the boundary of theory and thought and science and conversation.
What is your take on the stances of colleges and universities being a place to radicalize kids?
I think it's bullshit. I think whatever is, I think it's bullshit. I think whatever is whatever is perceived to be in opposition of traditionalism is called radicalization. That's what it's called. A new strain of thought comes that like, hey, this is supposed to be a place of challenging thoughts and ideas.
You know that's very interesting actually. So I wrote a paper on terrorism. That's actually something that I addressed, is like with the French Revolution, right? No, it was it a French Revolution? I think I was talking about the American Revolution actually. And this whole separation from Britain, right? They were called terrorists, like the people who had a different strand of thought, like you mentioned.
Of course, you gonna throw all my tea
and they called them
radicalized.
Yeah, they were called radicals as well.
Fucking radicals.
Even back then, they were called radicals as well. So like, so you're right about that. So that's interesting. But go ahead.
Whoever writes history, whoever creates history, right? The winners is who writes down history, right? Who gets to tell the story. And so they're gonna identify these people as terrorists, as insurrectionists and things like that, right?
Insurrectionists, yeah.
Right. And so the First Amendment allows that freedom of speech to do that to certain them. So you can push the envelope really with the First Amendment, but it's not unlimited. Either way. So some of the stuff can come across as anti-Semitic. Some of the stuff actually was anti-Semitic, right? And so now they got these, Congress calls up these presidents of these major institutions, Harvard, MIT, and Penn. Was it Penn?
Penn.
What's the other one?
Yep.
Penn.
I'm looking at Penn. Yep. University of Penn. Yep.
And so Penn. And so it's bullshit.
Pretty much Ivy League universities.
It's all a facade and a contentious exchange with Representative Elise Stefanik, who we will talk about extensively in a second. Claudine Gay said that the type of speech is personally abhorrent to me, but and at odds with values of Harvard. And so, but she was like, but is it anti-Semitic? Say yes or no. And then she kept repeating like a robot, that type of speech is abhorrent to me and at odds with, like, are you present? Are you human right now? she's not really. She don't give a fuck about.
It's yeah. She don't. She and that's what I was trying to get at.
She don't care about.
She don't care about
people.
none of that. She don't care about none. It's about her party and what her party is demanding. That's all it is.
Cap.
That's
it
all
was
is.
just
It's
a pretense.
It's bad faith. It's bad
the whole
faith.
It's bad. It's a bad. Exactly. It's bad faith arguments. A bad faith hearing.
Yeah.
It's all the pretext of what's happening in Gaza and then the protests happening on campuses to be like, oh, can't you? Matter of fact, they are the ones talking about Jewish space lasers. They are the ones talking about these East Coast.
That sounds so crazy.
What do they call them? East Coast elites. I remember we said a bunch of episodes back when I was like, we need to start making a list of this stuff so we could let the audience put the audience on game. So we're talking about zombie hunters. Remember I talked about that?
Yeah,
zombie hunters. You know what I mean? This whole thing about freaking East Coast or these coastal elites, they're talking about Jewish people specifically. That's what they mean. And that's what the right wing is always harping on. They don't care about Jewish people. They are the white supremacists. Trump said there are good people on both sides. When he talked about Charlottesville, these people were chanting Jews would not replace us with tiki torches.
Yeah.
You think Trumpsters, who she is one of them, give a goddamn about Jewish people and what's happening in Gaza? It's all pretext for one thing, and I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a second. But so we all know. So Claudine Gay is Asian. So I took that personal when I see that they had this freaking campaign against her. Right? She's the first Black person to serve at the top of leadership at Harvard. Harvard is the oldest institution in American history. We're talking about 1636, and she's the first Black person since 1636 to what? We didn't have smart people. We didn't have educated people. You know what I mean? Yeah. President Obama was the head of the law review at Harvard.
Ah, yeah, he was. Yeah,
who went on to be president of the United States.
That's actually that was actually during the time where he met Michelle actually at Harvard Law.
Yep,
I believe. Yeah.
He went on to be president of the United States. He
was
the president of Harvard.
Yeah, facts. It's right? It's quite the accomplishment, no cap. Yeah.
Right. And so and she's the first Black person. And then I think they identify her as Black person. They don't identify her as African American. Black person to be the head. A Haitian woman. Both her parents are immigrants. She's Haitian American because she's born here.
Yeah, she's first gen. She's actually first gen. Yeah.
Was she born in New York? I think she was born in New York. First generation, right?
Yeah. So she's Haitian. Like
yeah. She speaks Creole too. She was in the job for 6 months.
6 months.
Because it's bullshit.
Yeah, that's bruh. It almost feels like she was just a token in a way. Like they try to use her as a token. Not that she believed that. Not that she believed that, but it almost kind of feels
No. I don't think Harvard believed
really?
that.
You don't think so?
I think Harvard, she's legitimately qualified. She had
she has the
Stanford.
Merits. She absolutely has
the merits at Stanford.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And they went into Harvard and become the president of Harvard. Okay, so what they did then, because of the hearing thing happened and it didn't work, the other two resigned, right? They even had a thing say, oh, we got 2 out of the 3, only Harvard to go. Right? They got him to resign, they got him to be fired, whatnot, right? They then pivot to the plagiarism thing. They say plagiarism. They say, oh, she didn't deserve to be in that position anyways because plagiarism. She plagiarized her work that bolstered her academic bona fides, and that's how she ended up becoming president of Harvard. She didn't actually earn it. That's when you knew the clue. That's when you got the clue. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's really what they used the whole Jewish quote unquote anti-Semitic thing to get to their ends that they actually wanted was to get a Black woman who earned her position. They're like, ain't no way this naysayer.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming.
Ain't no way this naysayer.
Where's Reese Davis when you need them?
Reese, talk to your people. They saying there's no way that she could actually earn that joint. We have black academics. We have black scholars. She is one of them. But y'all brought the plagiarism thing. They brought the plagiarism thing, and the things that they're citing for plagiarism is the most. I can't believe Harvard fell for this bullshit. They fell for this crap. This guy, Christopher Rufo, right, is a known, he's a known antagonist. He's a known freaking liar in the right wing. And his go, like, he tells you himself, right, that he's a conservative activist. He tells himself he's best known for launching the crusade against critical race theory. Right? He was in a celebratory mood after Claudine Gay announced her resignation as president of Harvard. None of what happened is by accident, he says. He's telling this out loud to they're not even hiding it. Yeah. He's saying out loud to a reporter. None of this was an accident, as Christopher Rufo acknowledged to a reporter from Politico. Gay's resignation was the result of a coordinated and highly organized conservative campaign. It shows a successful strategy for the political right. We have to work the media, how we have to exert pressure, and how we have to sequence our campaigns in order to be successful. This is nothing but a high-tech lynching. It's a lynching of a different sort. There ain't no blood. There ain't nobody hanging from the poplar trees, right? Strange fruit hangs in a strange way in 2023, 2024, because they're doing it with people's careers, people's livelihoods, people's history. Okay? So to be specific, the reporter asked him, how much credit do you think you deserve for Gay's resignation? Christopher Rufo we're talking about. He goes on to answer, I've learned that it never hurts to take a little credit because sometimes people don't give it to you. But this really was a team effort. The overall goal, they might care about it, but it's to care for the end goal, which is whitewashing American history. That's what Prager University is about. That's what all these freaking laws that's passing these different. It's all about CRT. It all comes down to that. Which they got rid of affirmative action in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Because they want to show that black people don't earn the stuff that they got, that black people ain't as smart as they is, and that white people saved them. You know what I mean? And I ended that sentence, black people ain't as smart as they is, with some African American vernacular English.
Kind of crazy.
That's some wrong ass grammar for me to say it, but fuck what I'm saying. Like, yo, we got the intelligence to freaking get where we like in terms of the exact words and language, because it's not of a white lens. I'm saying it. All my naysayers out there know what I was saying when I said, you know what I mean? When I said that.
Yeah.
And so they purposely doing this stuff to whitewash makers to be like, make it seem like, slavery was a choice, or slavery was to the benefit. Remember that whole thing?
Yeah.
To the benefit of black, but they could use these skills.
They learn skills.
They learn skills.
Get the heck out of here.
It's all cap.
Governor Josh Shapiro signed 3 new laws today. The biggest of those involves probation changes. It's an effort that got some superstar support from Philadelphia's own Meek Mill. Action News race and culture reporter Taronda Thomas joining us live now outside the National Constitution Center with a look at the legislation being called groundbreaking today. Taronda.
It really is, Brian. Fittingly, these 3 new laws were signed here at the National Constitution Center, offering, in essence, a new level of freedom for some people who are involved in the Criminal Justice Center. Now, the Probation Reform law took 5 years to be in the works, and 2 people who joined forces to make it happen, a governor and a hip-hop star. Governor Josh Shapiro stood shoulder to shoulder with Meek Mill just about an hour ago as Shapiro signed pieces of legislation.
But he's crying too. He's icy, but he's crying.
One of them,
I mean, because he's been a part of the probation system there for a minute.
It changes the system in 2 ways.
Yeah, but if you're talking about business opportunity, I feel like he's feeling this
Commonwealth
in his heart.
There are more than 100,000 people on probation in Pennsylvania right now. The rate of recidivism, 58%, due in part, Shapiro says, to the fact that probation terms include punishment for technical and non-criminal violations. It's a personal story from Meek Mill, first put on probation when he was a kid. He was sent back and forth to jail for violating probation terms for something as simple as popping a wheelie on a motorcycle. That got the North Philadelphia native a 2 to 4 year sentence. In recent years, he's focused on helping create criminal justice reform. For him,
that was kind of crazy.
Finally seeing the probation reform law get signed today was overwhelming.
I'm at a point in my life, like, we all grew up in the streets, and we try to be better, but they labeled us felons, sent us back to jail. I had to fight against that the whole time to gain my respect and be who I am today, and I'm proud of that.
So when Meek got out, we all talked together about how we could learn from Meek's
It sounds crazy.
and how we could help. We don't want
say
Meek
this,
to
but
say
the name Meek.
To say the name. That sounds kind of crazy, bro. To say the name Meek, you can at least call him by his actual name.
Getting started because two other pieces.
For a governor to say that is kind of like I'm not sure if it's like if the governor is hip or he's trying to be hip.
Non-violent offenses.
You know what I'm saying? Like
the
I
other
don't know how to
is
take that.
Community law. It provides for the needs of women, including pregnant women who are in prison. Now, the probation reform law.
I mean, the
got
nigga middle name
bipartisan
is. I
support,
mean, the
overwhelming
Naysayer's middle name is
bipartisan
Rameek.
support. And another group
So,
called
you know.
the Reform Alliance.
There's that.
They also
Is it really? Is it really?
Yes, it's Rameek. Yeah.
Now,
It was
Meek
Rameek.
Mill
Okay. I
helped bring
didn't know that.
attention to this issue, but he and lawmakers are clear. It's not
When he's crying and he's getting emotional about it, I think that's what he's getting emotional about. Hold on, let me get out of this train. I don't know how to get out of this. Did I stop sharing? I think I stopped sharing. Okay. And that's what I think Meek was getting emotional about it because Meek is done. He's out of it. He's served his time. He's got his the case dismissed because there's some like shenanigans going on or whatever. But this became a project for him where he can change. Meek is gonna be, it's one of these things like, man, he's gonna be in history because he's gonna be in Pennsylvania history. It's in the books. His name is gonna be there. How this law came about. When you read the history of this law, it may not be in like your regular middle school. You read about Meek Mill or something like that, Meek Mill or something like that. But like, it's when you go to the law review or the freaking archives in Pennsylvania, his name's going to be here. That he was part of the thing that caused this law to happen there to come into for Josh Shapiro to sign it.
Would this have ever been possible if it was because he had some cachet as a celebrity?
Probably not. But this is why people with platforms need to speak the fuck up. If I'm calling out Harvard with our little bit of followers, with a couple subs that we got, I'm calling out Harvard. It should be everybody that has a platform and two brain cells to rub together should be like, yo, this is all cap. That they got her, the first black woman, the first black person at Harvard to resign and put that pressure on her because of this freaking cap. Like, people with platforms should speak up. And Meek had a platform and he had some backing. Robert Kraft, Jay-Z was like, yo, the dude popped a wheelie. He did a crime, legit. Back when he did the crime, he went to prison. And now you got him on perpetual probation. 58% of people are recidivized in Pennsylvania because they violate some goddamn probation joint.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. I think
because they jaywalk.
I think Meek said that he was on probation for like 10 years or something. I was like, what?
Way longer than the prison term.
The actual term. I was like, I never heard that before. That's insane.
Pennsylvania is like that. It's like one of the most. It's the most. Apparently, it's like the most. So first of all, America is the most imprisoned country in the world in terms of population percentage, right? And then you talk about Pennsylvania specifically is the most percentage-wise in America, bruh. It's tough for Negroes, especially if Negroes are going to be the most targeted. These naysayers in Pennsylvania, bro, are like, it's tough for Meek to have this situation. Like, bro, why would you even still be a resident of? But you got from the hood.
Yeah.
With the money you make, I could see somebody be like,
I don't
I'm
see why you
out of
move
here.
out. Like, yeah, I don't.
I'm
Yeah.
out of here, bro.
I never understood that. To me, that's one of the things that I always thought was weird
you
with like a
can't-
lot of rappers. Like, I mean, I understand your attachment, right? Because that's where you grew up and all that stuff. But it's like, but you know, like, you can get yourself tied up, bro, like in some mess because of your familiarity in that area, right? Like, it's probably
also
best
part
for you
of
and your career
why
to move away.
you're part of why you're still part of why you're big and where you got that cachet and that platform is because you rep your hood.
Yeah, that's true. I understand.
If you in LA, bro, you ain't gonna be Meek Mill the way that we know you to be, talking about all this Philly shit, Johns and all that kind of stuff, and riding, you know what I mean, and you know these bicycles, crazy bicycles all up and down the street and stuff, and the you know popping wheelies all over the place from your couch in LA. Like it's gonna be some authentic, so therefore you will lose your fan base. You're gonna lose some clout. You're gonna lose some authenticity. So that's why you kind of stay in your city.
I mean, there's a lot of these rappers who have the same type of content that Meek Mill has. They moved away, like Chicago. There's a lot of Chicago rappers that moved away to like another. They might still be in the Midwest, but they're not like in Chicago. They're like probably in Detroit, or I wouldn't say Detroit, but they might some of them even move to Atlanta.
And like they're not really from Atlanta. I get it. I get it, but like people still stay where they ain't from. These public defenders in Pennsylvania said, I know firsthand just how badly Pennsylvania's probation system is in need of meaningful reform. This is Veronica Miller. She's a senior policy counsel for criminal legal reform at the ACLU. She said in a statement to this week, like, unfortunately, the bill still falls woefully short of that goal. And it's just like it was the First Step Act or something like that that Trump signed, you know, with the whole, I think, is it Kim Kardashian?
Yeah, she kind of,
was Kim Kardashian.
You
know who else? Van Hunt.
Well,
not Van Hunt. What's his name? What's his name from the CNN?
Was it Van Layton or Van?
No, not Van.
No, I said Van Layton. What's the guy name from Van Jones?
Van Jones, right?
Yeah.
That everybody always mad at, right?
Yeah.
You know, you can't.
But that was one thing. That was one thing he was able to kind of get done.
Yeah, it's a first step, and people was like, "Oh, Van Jones don't do nothing." He's like, "That was whack." Whatever. Like, yo, it's a first step.
Yeah.
We can build on this, and so something like this is happening in Pennsylvania. You can build on that.
Oh, hey friends, welcome to the vibes.
That was so good. That was so good.
It's time for the vibes, y'all. As you know, we've been vibing out to all kinds of different music artists, all different, even movies, different things that we've discussed over.
Yeah, just vibing, you know.
Just vibing, just catching
Keeping
all the vibes,
and we keeping it going in 2024.
Yeah. And with that being said, Darwin has quite a few that he wants to bring to everyone's attention. So what you got for us for the vibes?
Hear ye, hear ye. Scarface has a tiny desk.
Bruh.
Yo. Y'all naysayers better get on it.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I definitely underappreciated Scarface and his musical ability.
But here's the thing too. But here's the thing about that too, though.
I didn't know.
You realize you forgot all of the Scarface that you were subjected to.
Yeah.
It was just like, yo, I know this song. Oh, I know that song.
And you can appreciate the music more because you see how it was composed.
Yep. He's got the storytelling going with it.
Yeah.
He is charming in that joint. You know, I really like those tiny desk ones where they do some of I mean, I like them all, not all of them, but like there's some that just straight up about the music that goes track to track to track, which are amazing. Yeah. But there's some tiny desks where they're like, yo, here's some little backstory, here's some little context, you know what I mean? Here's how this song came about, kind of thing, you know, and sometimes they have the original people with them, you know what I mean? Or like what caused this song to turn out this way, like all kinds of like little interesting kind of nuggets you only find on the tiny desk. And the fact that they have to recompose these songs for that space, that physical space that they have to work with. It's not like a concert hall. It's not like a recording studio. This is legit like a corner space at like an office building.
Well, yeah. So just a little context in all that you just described as far as that space. Technology has made all of that possible now. You can have all of the audio and configuration that you would have for like a concert hall, like an actual
Make it
symphony.
sound good.
You can make all that happen in a studio now with all these different synths, with all these different sample packs, with all these different DAWs, which is the digital audio workstation, like Fruity Loops, Logic Studio, GarageBand, all those different things, Pro Tools. So you can do all these different things with just a few instruments, right? And now you have keyboards that are like insane. And if you know about keyboards, if you
that could mimic freaking other sounds, so you don't even need a full.
Sound. Yeah, you don't need a full. You don't even need a full band for it sometimes. But if you want to make it authentic, you're gonna have obviously like a drum on set. You're gonna have guitars. You're gonna have keyboardists, and you're gonna have someone. Because now the way that, and I'm saying all this because I have experience in this, right? Because of music and I'm on a worship team. You have. Not only do you have like a keyboard player now, you have a secondary keyboard player who's in charge of like synths, and like synths are basically synthetic sounds. That's what synths are. And so they play a lot of like the ambient sound that you would hear in different sounds and different songs.
While the primary keyboard guy is doing the melody.
Is actually doing the melody, and they'll play together because they'll hit certain parts where like
they got
he might be playing the A chord, he might be playing the E flat, or he might be playing a minor chord. So if you see a guy and he's standing up and he's on a keyboard and he does like there's another keyboard on top of his, that's the synth keyboard, and he has the regular keyboard where he's playing it, but he's also like it's crazy. Like technology has
and
like
they're able to
crazy.
Use all those kinds of resources at the tiny desk and and you kind of see the music making behind Scarface's music, right?
Oh,
so
man.
Face is himself a musician. Like he plays the guitar.
And that actually sorry to cut you off. That's one thing I wanted to mention. The thing I do appreciate about artists in his time when he came up is that they were actually musicians.
They were legitimate the music making process.
Yes. This guy played the bass. I didn't even know that.
He says his kid who was on the things, he's even better than him.
Yeah.
He's even better than him. Shout out to Scarface. Like he's a living legend,
bro,
and he's underappreciated. We part of what I am vibing on this time is really, it seems to be a theme of storytelling, and I think like Face is one of these storytellers. Yo, last was it this year Halloween fell on a weekend. You know what I mean? Or like my mom's playing tricks on me. Like you going through that storyline, and the whole storyboard, like the visualization that he creates. He's punching the freaking, oh snap, I'm not punching the guy, I've been punching the concrete this entire time, my bloody, what I mean? So it's like he's a great storyteller himself, you know what I mean? And his work has always been more meaningful and less just freaking commercially acceptable, and so he might not have had the commercial success, but hip-hop heads know. Hip-hop heads know.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? He shout out to Tupac also on that tiny desk, you know what I mean? Because that was his boy. So yeah, honorable mention. That's just honorable mention. You should be worth more. All the flaws to Scarface, living legend. So you still got time to check him out in way that he may perform some of his stuff. Another random living legend that we don't give enough credit to, but everybody knows her songs. Alanis Morissette. Alanis Morissette had an album last year, was an ambient sound album. It was an ambient sound album.
Ambient sound.
It was called what was the name of that album? The Storm Before the Calm. Y'all remember the name? Yeah. I don't know, and I have to remind you of the next all those songs that was you know that song.
All those songs that were super annoying that you could not get out of your head.
But you heard it, and you know it. That was her.
And you know it. Yeah, that was her.
That was her. You know what I mean? So she's a legend herself, right? And she had an ambient sound album like Andre did, and it was better. but none of y'all even knew it came out. This was actually 2022. And I revisited this album.
I didn't even know she was still making music.
Man, but Andre has his joint about to be Grammy nominated. He won all kinds of awards already for the longest track ever making the top the top 10 or some joint.
I bet.
Right?
I bet.
Knowing doggone well if Alanis Morissette came out that same track in 2022. Yeah. Oh my God. It's so cute. All of this is a freaking facade. It's because Andre's name was on it. That's all it was. And Andre's ambient sound album was not that great, but it was timely. It was timely, and we put a lot of expectations on him, right? That, oh, this is great. I may not understand it. I may not vibe with it. You even said at the time, like, ain't really for me, kind of thing at the time. But like, it's great, I guess, because it's Andre, right? But how about this? Legit, I think people should check out Alanis' album, Alanis Morissette's album. Like this, it's way more exploratory, it's way more polished, right?
Is it?
And it still allows the it's still, but it's, and the thing is, like, when you have one of these ambient sound albums, it is like a jam session. You know what I mean? Which is really what Andre leaned in on. He was like, I don't even know if anytime I play this song, if I perform it live, it'll be the same as, I mean, the main ingredients will be there, but it'll be completely different song. This track, if I play it live versus what you heard on the album, because it is a lot of it is like a jam session. But yes, you listen to it and it still has the Alanis' album, The Storm Before the Calm, will still have a jam session feel, but still stay true to the ambient sound thing, because it's like, it's not like this repetitive beat throughout. It's not like there's not a chorus that it comes back to this instrument, you know, every, 90 seconds, whatever. No, it's not like that. It does meander, you know what I mean? But it seems organized though. Like they practice this. Like as if I will go listen to her perform track 2, track 3 live, it will still be the same. It'll still be the same. Because it's more polished, because she's practiced at it, because she's not a new. It's the same kind of crap I was saying about the Beyonce last album.
Oh yeah, you were saying that.
People love that joint, and but I'm like, yo, any person that came out with a house album, like 6 months earlier, their name was anybody different. You know what I mean? Like her name was Elise Stephanie. Let's call her, right? That album wouldn't do anything, you know what I mean? But because it's Beyonce's name on it, oh, it's revolutionary, it's great, it's good, but it wouldn't be Grammy nominated and all that kind of stuff, and freaking do all the numbers that it did if it was by this. Either way, Alanis Morissette album was even better. So, but I'll say this: if you're a person that did enjoy the ambient sound experience, you're new to it with Andre 3K, here's something else for you to check out to expand that palette, and that might be even make you more appreciative of the genre of ambient sound. The other thing for honorable mention is this artist, man. I didn't get a chance to really get to the background of Kwaye, but this song, Fool's Game, it came out perfect timing for the new season, for award season. So it's eligible. And so I think this song should. I listened to the album. The album was kind of hit or miss in there. It maybe just not me. It's not for me, and it just couldn't. And like I think I have a wide palette, right? But this song should be nominated, perhaps even win Record of the Year. Are you a naysayer right now? The composition, the lyricism, the performance.
Composition, okay. Lyricism, okay.
I definitely want to distinguish between that, between Record of the Year and Song of the Year. Now, Song of the Year is going to be mostly about writing and producing the song, the track, and all that kind of stuff. So these are two different records, right? and versus record of the year is more about the performance. Because I don't know if he wrote that song. You know what I mean? I don't know if he wrote that song. I don't know if he plays maybe the piano and all that. I don't know any of that, but like he performs it very well. And so record of the year is distinguished. It's a single song kind of thing. So it's not like in terms of record, it's not an entire album.
Yeah,
it's a single song. And I think his performance was amazing on that. And so that's why I would recommend him for record of the year.
For record of the year, it's gonna be largely based on plays though. The streams.
He's not gonna get to play. They're not listening.
Yeah,
they're not listening. He's good to play, but I would. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He's not gonna get to play.
Okay.
What up, fam? It's Darwin, the guy that was just talking. First off, thanks for watching and supporting the show. But I gotta give y'all some homework. Your challenge, if you choose to accept it, is to interact with the show. That means 1, hitting that like button, because I know you like our stuff. 2, make sure you subscribe so we can swim our way up your timeline whenever we drop new content. The third thing, please share the channel with your friends. Maybe they'll learn a thing about a thing or two. Oh, last thing, we're over here talking about what y'all talking about. So go ahead and carry that conversation on into the comments. We be up in there too. Let's move on to our actual, what we got going for the Vi's recommendation for this time. First up is Integrated Tech Solutions, ASAP Rock. ASAP Rock. A lot of people probably don't even probably thinking I'm saying, you mean ASAP Rocky? What? Like, no, if you're a hip hop head, you know about these underground dudes. You know, ASAP Rock is part of the, Killer Mike and LP. You know, LP was originally part, of what do they call them? Def Jux, right? Okay. They actually got sued by Def Jam because they sounded too similar, so they finally had to change it to Definitive Jux, right? As in like a juxtaposition from like the norm. This is all underground, right? Underground rap, and LP ended up going solo and teaming up, and through him going solo, he ended up teaming up with Killer Mike, who now we know Killer Mike is now Grammy nominated for Michael, the album this past year. We're just waiting for the award ceremony and everything like that. But it's like this is the ilk of who ASAP Rock is. And to even solidify that even further, was like ASAP Rock he's not mainstream. He's been underground. He stayed underground this entire time. And he stayed true to his craft. He's had a couple of songs that like might have like peaked out into the mainstream, stuff like that. But generally, if you're an ASAP Rock fan, you are a person that is here for some bars, right? Mm-hmm. One thing we talked about in a side quest, probably season 1 of us doing this whole show, was this and we'll put a link in the show notes, was this the study, the largest vocabulary in hip-hop, right? And so this is rappers are ranked in this thing, and there's got graphics and everything to it, and the rappers are ranked here by number of unique words in their lyrics. And you'll be happy to find out that some of these like artists that we think are like way up there in terms of like, true rhyme sayers and craftsmen, Black Thought, your Lupe Fiascos, Andres, and all these, like, they're on the higher end of this list because they use more, because they're more intellectual with it. We're putting their rhyme schemes together. They tend to have more unique words, right? They have, because they're intellectual, they have unique words, and so they're like there'll be a little bit more of these little what we used to call conscious rap, right? Mm-hmm. And so to somebody like Lil Uzi Vert or Lil Baby, these guys, you could be like, oh, okay, yeah, Young Boy, Never Broke Again, all these cats, you know what I mean? You're like Lil Peep, what's his name, Lil Pump, and
Lil
all
Pump?
these, yeah, all these, whatever, right?
Lil Pump, yeah.
Kodak Black, you know what I mean? These guys, they're like, they're gonna be on the like low end of the spectrum with all this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so there was one artist by himself at the very top end of this list, and that's ASAP Rock. Mm-hmm. ASAP Rock has always been nice with it. I want to distinguish him even more by pointing at the second place person over 7. Let me see. What's the 2 people
words.
over 7,000 unique words.
Mhm.
This other guy, a bus driver, and here's the distinguishing factor. The bus driver is whack. That nigga's whack. He might be on the top of the list in terms of unique, because this is specifically number of unique words used by this person, right?
Mhm.
And so you think, oh, they're very smart, they're very like intellectual, they get these bars out. This nigga ain't got no bars. This dude, bus driver, is basically opening a thesaurus and just reading. Thesaurus, just reading.
Just reading? Okay, is that what it is?
No flow.
Mm.
The production is whack. The layout is like it's like you gotta really just be like a bastardized hip hop fan where you're just like you're like, oh, as long as there's a lot of words and he's saying stuff that like unique, new sentences that have never been said before. A$AP Rock does that, but he's got flow.
Okay.
He's got some melody in it. He's got storytelling. A$AP Rock is one of the best storytellers, always been this way, one of the best storytellers. Talking about laying out a scene. It's like a movie. He will talk to you about, I had you listen to the song, right?
Yeah.
This guy, he had a mental health crisis of some stranger breaking into his apartment and is like hanging off the freaking like the damn mortars or whatever, the freaking rafters.
Yeah.
And he went through the process of like there's the talking to the landlord and the police and everything like that. And he talks about all that in the story. And if you wasn't paying attention, you just thinking this dude is on some boom bap, just like, you know what I mean, words rhyme with that and coming in with it. And like he's just telling a story. So it's like when Andre was talking about who else want to mess with Hollywood Cole. You know what I mean? Like that whole story Andre is laying out there. Lupe does this, you know, in all his songs, like where he'll walk you through a scene and you feel like you're there, right? Lupe in an interview shouted out A$AP. Not A$AP, but A$AP.
A$AP.
Right?
Okay.
And talk about like how A$AP's underappreciated. The dude is nice. The thing he doesn't have going for him that he's white. You know what I mean? So in hip hop, you know, you're gonna, if you're white in hip hop, you're gonna be an underdog. But if you appreciate bars and storytelling, this is the album for you. Ace talks a lot about the man. I love this album so much. He talks about the unseen, the unwashed masses. He has a song, and there's a lot of metaphors, but like he has a song about about pigeons, right? He wants to draw pigeons. And it's like people look at pigeons, people are like, oh, pigeons are just like rats with wings. They say that, right?
Pretty much, yep.
But he's like, yo, the thing is about pigeons is that there's a ton of them, so we don't appreciate the individual pigeon. And so but he's like, what we like to praise and highlight are doves. A dove is a pigeon.
Yeah, just a clean one.
Or a whitewashed one.
Oh my gosh. Here we go.
There's a few of them. And so we suddenly elevate. They're not clean. They just don't have no color. They just don't got no color on them.
That's true. It's like a bird.
They're pigeons. Like legit and straight up, we suddenly elevate them as if they're this like beautiful, majestic freaking thing when they're just like they don't got no melanin. That's all it is.
Is that what it is? Okay.
That's all it is. It's all pigeons, but they're just pigeons, but they're still just pigeons.
Right.
Matter of fact, in the song when he talks about it, he's like, y'all just bigots. He says
that's crazy.
He says a dove is
that
just
is
a pigeon.
so crazy.
He said a dove is just a pigeon. Y'all just bigots.
Wow, that's crazy.
And he's talking about pigeons this whole time, but it's of course all a metaphor. He has this one. I could talk about the song with like man, all his stuff. He can take a regular ass story, a regular ass event, and make it into a song. And the great thing about this album too is that he showed his evolution is shown in this album because he's not just like the battle rap just rhyming like a thesaurus type of freaking bus driver type of thing. I'm just using thesaurus just to rap. No, he's flowing. He's composing it a musical landscape along with the storytelling landscape, painting pictures with his words. And I just love that. So like he going to the local river. That's a song. He imagines himself in a treaty with a beaver because they locked eyes, and he's like, I have my lawyers draw up the papers with the beaver. Yeah. Right? And he's trying this the whole story, and it's compelling.
Yo, I will say this about the doves and the pigeons. I'm looking at some pigeons in like different areas of the world, and there's some beautiful looking pigeons.
They have some fancy ones.
They got some very fancy ones.
There's some fancy ones. Yeah, so I've seen
those very fancy pigeons.
There's some fancy pigeons. They have like show competitive pigeons in London and Europe in England.
Oh, okay.
Competitive pigeons. They look wild, deformed, personally. Okay. But they to them, there's like, yo, it's a masterpiece in pigeon breeding. You know the way we breed all these dogs now, like these dogs that never really existed before, but we mixed a Labrador and a poodle, and now we have and then we have golden doodles, and we have all kinds of
cavapoos and
and Australian shepherds. Now we have a Texas one or some joint like that, and so they've been doing this with pigeons apparently, right? And I'm probably sure they probably do other species of birds too, but like pigeons is like one of the top tier breeding of birds that happens, and they look wild and crazy in a lot of these other places. One of that was really nice about one of the songs, he made a song about meeting Mr. T. He met Mr. T. It's such an endearing story. He was a kid at the time, and he's like recapturing, yo, I met Mr. T. And like all these lessons about just meeting the celebrity who actually is a good guy. You know what I mean? All this, like, these things that we knew about him. Like, he's like this action figure or this like cartoon figure. This like, he was literally in the cartoon. Mr. T cartoon, right? And freaking from the A-Team and all that stuff. And you see him on TV like, oh my God, this is in real life. And he talks about, and you could like relive the anxiety of being a little kid. Oh, this is Mr. T. You know what I mean? I'm meeting. And then the fact that you meet him, you know how they say never meet your heroes? But Mr. T was cool. Mr. T was cool. He's talking about some eat your food, you know what I mean, and listen to your and listen to your mom.
Parents, yeah.
That's what Mr. T's lesson was. He would say that all the time in these like PSAs and stuff. And he said that to him in real life. I particularly bring this point up about him meeting Mr. T and this mundane stuff about the river and appreciating the river. He even name drops the river. And these real life situations where we're talking about he caught somebody breaking and entering into his home who was having a mental health crisis. Andre, you have nothing to talk about, you're saying, because you're older? You have nothing to say? Is that what you're saying? Man, you
just sound like Andre ain't doing nothing. That's what
Andre ain't ever been on my top 5 for a solo artist. He's a great artist. He's revolutionary, but like in terms of like, bro, when I say you got to have more than one album, remember this is why Biggie can't be in my top 5. Andre can't be in my top 5. You know, because he's like Andre leaves a lot to be explored, but what he has given us, we see the capabilities of Andre, but he literally hasn't done it though.
Yeah.
He hasn't done the thing.
That's what
capable of so much, but he hasn't done the thing. We're giving him potential and giving him credit for potential.
That's what irks people about Andre, because they see like this guy could be much greater as a rapper, as an artist, but you don't be tapping into.
I feel like he's a figment of our imagination. We created this image of what we think Andre is.
Yeah,
and he's like, he doesn't want it. He's not trying to do that thing, and it's on us. It's our bad. Yeah, I shouldn't be upset that, you know what I mean? He's like, I have nothing to say. It's like, he has nothing to say because Andre ain't never been that. Maybe Andre's not that deep and introspective. He's just not. He's just a regular guy. And in the time and place where he was at, he could put words together. You know what I mean? But he's right. Though I ain't want to say this. And this is this is like a death knell when an artist says this about another artist. I'm not an artist, so it's not a death knell when I say it. But when an artist says you're all wrapped out. When the rapper says that, oh, he's all wrapped out. That's like signing your death warrant right there.
Yeah.
And just kind of, I feel like Andre said it to himself. He's like he has nothing to say. He's all wrapped out.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing examples left and right of other people coming up with something to say. If you're still breathing, you should still have something to say. And Andre ain't got it. So
if Nas still got something to say, you still got something to say, Andre.
You still got something to say. If Scarface is doing a tiny disc, he's storytelling about the background of making these songs, right? And it's under the the backbeat of the jazz band playing in groovy tones and everything in the background. Then you should still have something to say.
Yeah,
and you're
like,
he's just not that introspective.
Yeah,
he's not. Andre is not that introspective. We need to stop putting him on this super echelon. This is just it's not. He says it out loud. So that's on us. But ASAP has inspired me. I think I've been talking about writing this book that I've been working on. I have a lot of the words written, but in terms of putting it together, I think I want to create an accompaniment, a musical accompaniment to the album as maybe like phase 2 of it.
Okay.
The storytelling that ASAP has done, and he does this one about an art piece. Shout out to my other podcast, which is Zick Frastic. If you learn how to spell it, you could probably check it out. Right? I have a bunch of seasons out and episodes out, and I can introduce y'all to some art. This is an art-focused podcast that I do. And there's a poetry involved in it too. And Ace does this with a Van Gogh that he likes. And so I'll let you check out the song. But check out, man, this album is amazing. Integrated Tech Solutions, right? It's a retrospective on technology, and immediately he like escapes from technology in it and like shows the appreciation of like the natural world, and like just it's a lot. It's a lot of messages of layer upon layer upon layer. What were you saying? It sounds like?
It sounds like a software company. And I think
you would think so, right? The other album today we're going to feature is Quaranta by Danny Brown. Danny Brown right now at this age, he's like 42 years old. This is another older rapper. 42 years old. His last album was in, what was his last? I think it was 2020, might have been 20. Would I have this down? His last album, XXX, right? Triple X. And so that was, I think it might have been 2010, might have been 10 years ago. And so he's known for pretty much sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Okay, fair
bro.
enough.
Like when I talk about punk rock before, he's kind of like a punk rock rapper, right? The music in the background is a lot of rock. It's rock heavy. You know, it's a lot of experimental sounds and compositions and stuff. And he is fun loving, and he is like going 1,000 miles an hour, and he is like basking in the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's called XXX. Matter of fact, the album cover is like somebody like it's a cartoon of like somebody popping a pill, right? Because that's the lifestyle. So, and he talked about it in his music. Every track was damn near about it, right? But he actually lived it, because he was a drug addict. He was a drug. He's in rehab now, and so it's clearly exemplified in this album that I'm going through some. I'm going through sobriety right now. I'm going through the programs. I'm going through rehab. But here's the interesting thing. This album was released in 2023. Okay, so this album. So the album is called Quaranta. Quaranta is Italian for 40, right? Okay. So the album was released. Remember, I started off by saying he's a 42-year-old rapper.
Yeah.
He was 40 when this album came out, Quaranta, right? But it came out in 2020. 2023-ish, 2 years later after quarantine, right? And so he's not 40 anymore when the album comes out. So I'm wondering, like, a lot of the stuff that he's going through, that he's describing in the album, how much of it is influenced by being on lockdown? He goes through breakup. He goes through he thought he talks about he thought he found his wife, you know what I mean? But he got big in his head thinking his career is booming. Bro, COVID really humbled a lot of people.
Absolutely.
COVID really humbled a lot of people, and it really changed things up for plans that folks had. So he recorded the album in 2020. You know what I mean? He's 40 years old at the time. And by the time we're listening to this album, that relationship is long gone.
Yeah.
Right? And the very opening track is Quaranta. And he starts off the album, and again, I love opening tracks to like when you get it right, that sets the mood for the album. I look for that when I listen to an album if I'm going to be a fan of that album. If that opening track is weak, it's going to be like, okay, whatever. But if I listen to the album and it's a good album, I go back and listen to that first song of the album and like, man, that's how you kick off an album, right? It really matters. He starts off the album on some real, like, I fucked up. I've made some mistakes. And he's like very like apologetic. It starts off somber. And I'm like, yo, where's all the sex, drugs, and rock and roll? What's up with the party? I could, Danny Brown is a party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, he's got this high-pitched voice, and mind you, he's always been smart. He's always been subversive and punk rock. And remember, punk rock, a lot of the theme of punk rock is talking about the man and being against, you know what I mean, the corporatism of everything, and being protest, right? Protest music. So he always still had that, but a part of the way he lashed out and all that was through the sex, drugs, and of course rock and roll. But this album starts off like mellow, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This dude sounds like he got something to say. So I listened to the whole album, going through it, and he's gone through a journey, and he is growing. This is probably gonna be his most accessible album, because a lot of people may not be into punk rock, but he has a lot of songs on here that are like, that could cross an adult contemporary rap way that can be accessible to, like, for the common folk to be like, oh, who's this Danny Brown person, and play it. And not just white people, right? But even like older hip hop heads that have watched folks like him grow. We haven't watched a lot of hip hop folks grow into this thing. We saw when Nas did it, Jay-Z did it, Killer Mike is doing it. But there's a lot of these that Run DMC didn't get to do it. You know what I mean? Ice Cube a little bit, you know what I mean? But like Ice-T had to pivot into movies and TV shows and stuff like that. L.L. J was allowed, I mean, he's one of the exceptions in there. But like a lot of these older rappers, we kind of got rid of them, they kind of like fell off the wayside. Flavor Flav, Will Smith had to transition to movies. They just can't, they can't, but like, I want to create a space. And as a fan, I want for us to start appreciating and allowing and listening and streaming and giving them the numbers to back it. Our older rappers, giving them a chance to flourish and to grow. And to actually grow and age gracefully in the rap game. And let us see the evolution of what rap can be. As a genre, rap is still super freaking young, right? As a genre, it's super freaking young. It's not like rock. It's not like freaking even gospel. It's rap is still super young, and allowing the rappers that have evolved with it for 10 years, for 15 years, for 30 years, 50 years of hip hop we just celebrated last year. Allowing them to see where are they taking it. It's always been this trope about rap as being a young person's game, right? No, we need to dead that. We need to allow our elders to grow and evolve. And I think, respectfully, Danny Brown's album should probably be nominated next year for the Grammy. And I say it in this respect. What happened with Lil Yachty last year when I first listened to Lil Yachty's album?
Lil Yachty
I
found
keep
a way
going back on
into
this
conversation.
that when I first listened to Lil Yachty, I was like, yo, I came to Lil, I heard about Lil Yachty. I thought I knew I had an identity of who he is. And this is what I expect of him. And that's it. I'm gonna put him in this box and boom, and I'm gonna file him away and know what to expect from him. And I listened to the album and I was shocked. I was like, oh.
You talking about his Danny Brown album or are you talking about the Yachty album?
I'm talking about Yachty.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is Danny Brown is of the same thing. The sex, drug, and rock and roll that we thought was just a layer of Danny Brown. That's all he had to offer. And by the way, he came out with another album earlier this year. He collaborated with damn it. I can't remember who he collaborated with. We'll fix in the post. But he had a collaboration earlier this year that gave you the sex, drug, and rock and roll. And so because I think he thought ahead of time, he's like, you know what? I'm about to put this other project out that is going to be away from this identity that people have painted about, what that I've made and people have cornered me into, that I feel like I can't really escape. But let me put this other project out, how my true artistry is exposed. And because I gave him this little other thing to satisfy that itch, I can have the space to be more introspective.
Yeah, more creative.
More creative.
Yeah.
So, people, let's get into this one. And I think it's as quality as I think of the Lil Yachty album. This album by Danny Brown, Quaranta, should be nominated for a Grammy. It's that unexpected. It's that creative. It is that subversive. It's that unique. It's that unique that it should be nominated for Grammy. It's early. It's early in the season. Very early. I get it. You know, it's very early. There's a lot of music to come out. You know, Killer Mike's album came out later in the season and now it's nominated. You know what I mean? So it's kind of tough to come out this early and be nominated. I get it. But even if Killer Mike's album came out early in the season, it should have still been nominated, which it is. And I think either Killer Mike or Nas should win for last year. But Danny Brown should be nominated this year. And again, Danny Brown is going through life experiences that he's talking about at the age of 42. Andre, are you listening? It can be done. So that's it, bro. That's all I got. That mission accomplished, I think.
Okay. All right.
We covered a lot today.
Yeah, we did cover a lot. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. We can do a quick wrap up here from top of the show to the end of it.
The mass count is 6.
Yeah. Start off with the mass count. Bro went into NATO. Any final thoughts on protecting NATO from Donald Trump?
I'm just saying Biden has to be held accountable to it as well. Not that Biden would ever think of dropping out of NATO or anything like that, but like some of these rules are coming into place and realizing like if y'all doing this thing where like, Trump is trying to do this thing in court where he's like, oh, a president doesn't, it's immune. He's immune. If president is not legal. Remember, Biden is still president currently. Yeah. So you trying to say Biden could do some wild shit right now?
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Yeah.
You don't want that. Okay.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind that's good that it's in law and it's for everybody. It comes to nobody is above the law. That's on that NATO joint.
From there, we went over to this Katt Williams. And one final thing I did want to say about this Katt Williams thing. Yo, at the end of the day, man, I ain't gonna lie. As great as Katt Williams is, and some of these other comedians that other folks might recall as being great as well, comedians steal from comedians all the time. It's a practice that happens all the time. Not to say that it's right, and I'm not giving it any excuse or anything like that, but especially like top tier comedians like Katt Williams, like the elite ones, your material's gonna get stolen all the time, bitch. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
It is, and also there's the idea that there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, that too. But
it kind of hit different though when you're storytelling of your life story.
Yeah.
And granted, the broad strokes of a life story can be similar, but
sometimes people go through the same thing, and sometimes go through the same thing at the same time or around the same time.
No, come up with a different joke though. Tell the story, but tell a different joke.
Yeah, tell a different punchline. Yeah, tell a
different punchline.
Yeah,
to that joint. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like that plagiarism thing is levels to it, we talked about plagiarism, right? What they did, later on when we talked about Claudine Gay.
Yep.
But that joint hit different. We also talked about COP 28 happening in Dubai.
So climate change thing.
The climate change summit, you know what I mean? You're gonna put it in Dubai. We already know what time it is. You know what I mean? So everybody, I'm telling y'all now, get some sunscreen. You're gonna need it. You know what I mean? Get your salt for your sidewalk because it's gonna be record cold and record heat, record storms, record floods, record droughts. You know what I mean? Hey,
the earth is definitely getting warmer and the climate is absolutely changing. So definitely look out for that.
It ain't getting no better.
And Darwin has been referencing it throughout the entire show. We got this with the whole let a Naysayer know.
Yo, Naysayer, what you call me?
your boy Reese Davis. He got by the skin of his teeth. So
that boy there never caught Lincoln. That boy never caught Lincoln.
He is not going out like that for you guys at all. For you, he's not going out for you naysayers.
not for y'all naysayers.
Not for y'all naysayers.
Take that somewhere else. Like I told y'all this with the media training. You know what I mean? Like that boy right there is a pro.
That boy tapped into that media training.
Shout out to you, boy. Tip of the hat. Boy, dodge that bit like an expert.
Yeah, and obviously Russell Wilson and the Broncos got something to figure out. They gotta work something out.
They gotta figure that joint out. You better pay my boy.
Yeah,
you owe me. You owe me 4.
Yeah,
you talking about? Hey, I'm gonna give you a 4, but let me just give this 2 right now. No, you owe me 4 today.
Yeah, today.
My good
today,
sir.
my guy. Yeah,
owe me 2 days.
Absolutely. We jumped into our challenges as well. Darwin talked about the soup Joumou that is
that's
highly
fire. No, it's all right. It's all right. Working on it. Working on that soup Joumou.
So, soup Joumou, traditional dish, served. Just a reminder, sir, is served every
Haitian Independence Day. Kill your masters.
Every New Year's, kill your masters. Absolutely.
Kill your masters.
And I talked a little bit about working on site. That ain't it. Working on site for me, that ain't it. I mean, for some of y'all that might be cool, but that ain't the way of the future. I'm telling you right now. Technology is only
not to have that commute no more, man.
Yeah, for real. Definitely consider your quality of life over other things.
Or just our paycheck.
Or at least prioritize your quality of life. So
yeah. Claudine Gay was a witch hunt. Right? It's a high-tech lynching.
Crazy she had to take that L. That's crazy.
Yo, Harvard, y'all need to reinstate my girl.
Yeah.
My woman, my lady, my president. My president is black and Haitian. You know what I'm talking about? Like the first black person, the first black woman, all that at Harvard, and she only gets 6 months on the gig.
Yeah.
And y'all falling for the crap that these conspiracy theorists people are just pushing, and they know it's all BS. They know that it ain't really plagiarism. They know it ain't really about Gaza.
Yeah,
they just trying to whitewash history. It's all
just
CRT,
trying to push their narratives. That's all it is.
All again, pushing that narrative. Y'all falling for that joint. I thought you was an institution of higher learning, Harvard. I thought you was better than that. Bunch of dummies. You paying all that people paying all that goddamn money to go to Harvard. They got that endowment, and they can't figure out how to defeat some mouth breathing knuckle draggers.
It's in the blood of America.
In an intellectual combat.
That's
not like they actually out doing fisticuffs. Get out of here.
That racial supremacy is in the roots of this country, bro. That's just, you just can't get away from that.
That's just what it is. And Meek Mill will tell you.
Yeah, facts. At least they definitely got at least there's we can end it off with getting some kind of a win as far as this probation.
There's some work to be.
There's a lot of work to be done, but
ACLU will tell you they won't let you freaking celebrate no victories today.
Yeah, a win is a win though. A win is a win though.
A win is a win. You know what I mean? That's progress. Meek Mill, sure enough, feels that it's progress not just for him, but millions of people in his same situation.
A lot of people, bro. A lot of people.
So check out. Make sure we check out the vibes. We mentioned Honorable Vision, that Scarface man, the Tiny Disc. Go check it out. Don't sleep on it.
Real musicians will check it out for sure, but you should definitely check it out. Just as an interested party, you guys should definitely check it out for sure. It's dope.
Yep. Alanis Morissette has the ambient sound album. You know what I mean? If you enjoy what you listen from Andre, go listen to Alanis Morissette. It's the storm before the calm. Usually that term goes calm before the storm. You ever heard that term, calm before the storm? But this one's called storm before the calm. So that's helped you remember that one. Record of the year, I'm already calling it Fool's Game, right? By Quiet. Check it out. There's actually a visual component to it too. If you go on YouTube and you can watch that one, we probably link it in the show notes. Aesop Rock, you know what I mean? #1 in terms of unique words, you know what I mean, on this list of like straight up just like lyricists according to the unique words being smart about it, but he actually has flow. He actually has bona fides with the likes of LP, who, you know, with Killer Mike and Run the Jewels and all that, and you know, all the underground cats that he grew up with and they work with. This guy was just a some skateboarder white dude from New York, but he's got bars.
Got bars.
And he got
Got bars for you.
stories. He's got stories for that ass.
Facts.
On top of that, we finalized with Quaranta with Danny Brown, who I think should at least be nominated. Mad early call. Danny Brown's album with the growth that he shows there, and his just the compositions are great, you know what I mean? And he's still keeping the punk rock ethos of making some protest songs there. He talks about gentrification and this thing and everything like that, right? So I was like, hey, we used to sling on this corner. Now there's a Starbucks, you know what I mean? And some white lady drinking White Claw, you know what I mean? You know, so he still keeps up with the you know the little bit of revolutionary that's in him, and I hope that we allow him the space as fans to grow into that. He's 42 now. He's an elder statesman. He's getting up there, to grow into that space and lean into that, bro. I think same thing with actually about Lil Yachty. Like Lil Yachty, man, come on, man, stop listening to these freaking your acolytes or that are your peers.
It looks like he's been trying to separate himself from that.
Keep it different. Yeah,
I mean, he still has a fan base that still likes that stuff, so he still has to kind of feed them that. But it looks like he's taking the craft a bit more seriously, though. I think.
Yeah, both based on and Danny Brown. So
yeah,
I hope we allow as hip hop fans to allow that space for hip hop to grow. Sure. And we expand our palette with things like Alanis Morissette, for example. But yeah, that's the show, man. That's all I got. Mission accomplished.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So once again, man, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. With all that being said,
like and subscribe.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know all the platforms y'all like to frequent. Like, subscribe, man. Hit us up, comment. You know, we always watching. We'll respond. So check us out. Sure. But yeah, stay safe, guys.
On l'a vu, changer de tempo.
It's challenge day.